everyone.
Hi.
How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Viall Files. I am Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Host, I guess.
Glasses, Nick.
Glasses,
We're
Nick.
just messing around.
If you're just listening, you really do gotta check out.
Well, here's the thing.
YouTube.
I'm very insecure about my face today.
This is a good story.
Accidentally, I was trimming the old beard, and I fumbled it like a hot potato. Literally, I'm in my bathroom and and I was about to like drop in the toilet, and I caught it, and I was like, yes, it was a big win. I caught it. And then absent-minded me did not check the safety guard because in all the fumbling, why would it like get like messed up? And so I went and just like on a 2 level just trimmed off the like really just the whole.
What was your face after you did that?
And again, I wouldn't normally care because it grows back, but I'm shooting a national commercial tomorrow.
Humble brag.
No, that's a concern.
Yeah,
flag.
no.
I was very worried. As soon as I walked in here today, he's like, "Can you see it?" I was like, "What?"
She's like, "Yeah."
What is it? Your
Well,
face.
so I had to trim it down real short. So, and listen, ever since I went on TV and I grew a beard, everyone's like, "Don't ever shave." I have since become slightly insecure about my
if
face.
If you ever shaved your beard, all your power would be gone.
Listen, these glasses, spoiler alert,
Fake.
they're not real. Well, they're not fake. They block out the blue light. And since I'm on my phone a lot, you can't call them fake. They do serve a functional purpose besides making me look good.
Do you use them to counteract the six-pack?
I do get complimented on how I look with glasses and in a beard, which makes me even more insecure about like just my face is like the worst option. The more I cover my face, the better looking I get per compliments, I've noticed. Anyways, so I have a...
So there's a big hole in the side of his
There's a
beard
big hole.
right now. But you've been reassured. You know, you're doing a commercial. All they'll do is fill it in. They'll take some coffee grounds. That's a Hollywood secret. They'll take some coffee grounds and rub it in, and it'll look like you have beard.
Great.
There you go. You'll be fine.
I love this episode today, by the way.
It's so exciting.
Of Bekah and Jess.
Oh
from
yeah,
Chatty
Bekah,
Broads.
they're great. Can't wait till you guys listen to them. What do we talk about? Like we talk about being lonely.
Yeah, we talk about FOMO a lot, which is a real thing about being lonely
Very
and kind of wishing
relatable
you're in other places.
Conversation that we had
Yeah.
with them. I'm really looking forward to listening to it again. And I was there. It was really great.
But when we recorded this, we had not seen this episode.
Of The Bachelorette.
Yeah, because it came out on Tuesday.
I gotta say, I was a little. I think Sugar would agree with me. I was a little disappointed in Big Mike's date.
Oh, 100%. We haven't
You
talked
were
about this
too?
yet. 100%.
First of all, let's
So
talk about a smile.
disappointing.
What a great smile, very charismatic. You just wanted to root for the guy, and
Yeah.
then from that moment forward, very underwhelming.
But we're saying this. We love you, Mike.
We love
I
Mike,
love
but
Mike.
like we were all waiting for this big like
I feel
truth
like
bomb,
he
and
was-
he just was like,
He was like a romance wind-up doll where you're just saying romantic things, but it didn't come from any
Hold on.
place.
Are we not faulting Hannah at all in this?
I'm
There was
not
just no
necessarily-
there was no chemistry between them. She was rolling around on the pool table with 6 other people, I think,
She
if
was-
I counted. But with
she
Big
did
Mike,
great. No, she did
they were
great.
just nice to each other.
It was
No
it's a
passion, no
little
heat.
it's a little bit more on Mike just because
Yeah.
it was just kind of weird because he was like, I have this thing I want to tell her, and I'm
didn't
so
open
nervous,
up.
and I don't know anything about their relationship, but all of a sudden he's ready to get down on one knee, literally, as
Yeah.
that's what he said. It was just like, but you're watching, you're like, we love you, but why?
It didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was coming from a genuine place.
It seemed a
No.
bit disingenuous,
Yes.
just the way it came out.
Agreed.
It was a little, I wanted to love it.
And
but
I mean, all that whiskey, if you weren't getting frisky after all that whiskey, something's wrong.
Agreed.
yeah, I
I just
guess.
came up with that right now.
Great job, Rochelle.
No, you looked I looked over and your
Really?
face was very proud.
Yeah. Well, do we know that they both? Oh, that's right, because they had, yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
they
pool-
went to the fancy whiskey.
That
tasting.
Well,
pool
also they had the
table.
type of date that's great. They had the type of great Mike and Hannah. The walking around town date is such a great day for
Yes.
conversation because it's a real date. It's a real life date, and yet nothing was actually said.
But that, can we
But
talk
there's
about the
just
pool
no
table?
sparks.
Her
There's
and
no
Peter?
sparks.
The pool table makeout was the
Was
best
that Peter?
thing
Who was
in
that
the
again?
world.
Rochelle, you really need to get laid.
I know.
I mean, every time there's like
Wasn't
this.
that hot?
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
I guess.
I've never been lifted onto a pool table.
We need to get you on the Bachelor.
I just need to bring up a Natalie's note in this moment. Her one note that really stood out to me, she says, Hannah was on fire that night. My only thoughts were, do you think she has a chance, and Nick, you can answer this, do you think she has a chance to brush her teeth or chew some gum or something between makeout sessions?
Gum, yes. It's actually not gum. Listerine strips are very popular.
Those are powerful.
Because you're not chewing. You don't want people chewing and the sound. The Listerine strips are popular. Those that get handed out all the time.
You ever like taste the other men on their lips?
Do I taste the other men?
Can you when it's
well, I had women on my
is
season.
going so deep into the gutter right now.
No, there's just a lot of like bad breath because of like there's a lot of wine breath because people are sitting around like drinking and then like
that's so funny.
So there's that. Brushing your teeth, I guess if she really needed to, sure. But most likely she's probably, like they have those like Listerine kind of brush things and stuff like that.
So there is some hygiene that's taken into consideration. Because there's a lot of making out.
Oh, John Paul Jones.
Oh, God. Real disappointed.
I literally screamed, John Paul Jones.
Really sad to see that, see him go. Luke P, man. We've talked about him plenty. I think this episode really just shows that Luke P really is lost as a person.
Agreed.
I'm starting to almost feel bad. I am, because I feel like he's just incapable of self-awareness. And I give Hannah a lot of credit because she's like, I just want to. It's hard, again, in fairness to the show, sometimes it's really hard to know what they're referring to because they have such a short window of what they can air, right? So keep in mind, these dates are all day long, condensed down into 6 minutes. But I think you can see that with Luke. He's always like, it's like he's a liar because he doesn't know his own truth.
100%.
And every time Hannah's like, I want you to be this, he's like, all right, well, if I'm being honest, and then he'll like kind of just repeat back what she wants to hear. It's so bizarre.
Bizarre. That's
but
what
he,
I was
But
say.
it is. It's
I don't
naive.
think he. I think he just doesn't.
Has no idea.
I don't think he really knows who he is. I don't think he has any true conviction about who he is and what he stands for. I think he wants to believe he has good morals and values, and I think obviously having a faith in God is something that's certainly socially acceptable. And I'm not saying he doesn't believe in God or that's disingenuous, but he flaunts it more than he actually practices it because. Right? I mean, that's a fact.
He has no grounding.
He's really no conviction.
Oh my God, when he was cheersing and everybody was just like,
I know, but those are the signs. His interactions with the boys in the house,
so forced.
Those are the signs. Sorry, the men in the house. Those are the signs that he's just not connecting A to B. He's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. That was Mike's date was it fell flat for me.
Listen, we still love you, Big Mike.
Sure.
Correct. There wasn't a lot there. But I think that there's just not a lot of passion between those two because look at her and Pilot Petey.
Well, I get my only criticism.
My
only criticism of Mike is that I agree with Rochelle. It seemed disingenuous.
Yeah.
Why are you ready to get down on one knee?
Yeah.
Why?
Like not to talk about Tyler C all the time, but his romance seemed real.
Well, only that,
Grounded,
but like his
manly.
profession of like feelings seemed to be in place. You're right. Like he was just like, listen, I like you, and this is the type of person I want to be for you. It seemed appropriate in the crazy timeline that is The Bachelor. Even Tyler or Peter or Jeb haven't said to Hannah, I'm ready to get down on one knee. Yeah. All of a sudden, you were like waiting for Mike to just say like something like that made sense. Like I'm really like, I was nervous and I'm really starting to like, I'm excited about where this could go. Something like that out of nowhere. I just think we love Big Mike, but he's deserving of some criticism. It came across as disingenuous.
Yeah.
And that's your biggest thing. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. And I loved his smile. How can you not root for the guy with that just charismatic smile? When he got the date card, you're just like, oh, I just want to hug him.
I do think she was a little bit sexually harassed by that one guy in the library. The book guy.
The old guy?
Yeah.
He's an old guy.
I didn't really pay.
He's an old Scottish guy.
What'd he do?
He was
Just like, if
What'd he say?
I could take you home, I'd pour whiskey on you. That's not what he said, but it was like that kind of an idea.
Yeah, it was that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Can I just say about Big Mike, maybe that was like a plant for him to say, hey, everyone in the world, producers, everyone, I am ready to get married. Make me the next Bachelor. Bachelor? No.
If it was, I
No?
still don't like it because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't.
I guess.
You know,
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm just trying to find
I
reasons.
don't know.
The last thing I want to say is, why is this the season of salmon? Why is everyone wearing salmon-colored jackets?
Oh, what is up with
the
that? You know what?
jackets.
You know what I think? No, it's not even the salmon. It's the solid,
bold.
bright, bold
Yeah.
colors in these blazers. You know what? I'm pretty sure it is. And
What?
I forgot to ask Hannah. Is that every season you get like a gift bag when you show up, and there's like
They all
there's
got the same jacket.
So no, like I guarantee you, there's a blazer company that gifted all the guys different color blazers, and so that's why you're seeing it dispersed out
I
throughout
swear
all
it's
these
the
days.
same color. It's all
That's
salmon pink.
I'm certain that's what happened. But yes, we were like, what is up with this? What is this in Vogue? Where did they?
It's not attractive. way to say
I'm
it.
certain that's what it is. I haven't asked, but I would be shocked if that's not it.
Listen, I'm not mad at the movement. I like a bold jacket on a man. But, some of these colors were odd. But that's okay.
And Hannah got to see a lot of balls.
Balls?
The kilt thing.
Real balls.
Oh, the real
Balls,
balls.
yeah.
Yeah. I come from a Scottish family. There have been a lot of balls at all of the weddings.
Balls very unattractive.
Balls are very unattractive.
Even Michelle, be honest, if you saw Tyler C's balls,
I would
still
love
not
them.
great. Really?
You
Oh,
like
yeah.
balls?
I'm sure.
If you just saw his balls,
just the balls,
like he tucked him between his leg and kind of bent over and gave you a little.
of course I would like them.
Really?
That's what they do all the time. They just
You,
tuck them behind and show it to women like this.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's
You
a
want
very
some of those
emasculating
balls?
way to see a man's balls. But even then, you would be all.
What about a hairy ball? What's the hairiest ball you've seen
Let's
between
not- I
1 to
can't
10?
I can't go here.
All right, just checking.
I've seen anyway. I can't get into
like
this.
an 8.
Sometimes there's lack of balls. You ever encounter that? Where there's one
It's called
gone.
a woman.
Yeah, all the time.
Sometimes you're like, where did they go? I
They're
think you should
inside where
warn
they're meant to
someone.
be. Okay, great.
We gotta cut that out.
No, definitely not.
Yes,
I won't allow it.
the woman said no.
Well,
her words, her choice. Her balls,
anyways,
her
thanks for
choice.
sticking with us. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this episode with Bekah and Jess, the host of
Yes, what lovely women.
Shout out to the Broad Squad.
the Broad Squad, the Chatty Broads. So I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars
Yes.
whenever you have some time.
Time for Nick to sell you things you really need, but you don't own yet.
I'm really proud of this show and the fact that our sponsors trust us
Yes.
to sell some of these more feminine products.
Of course, because you got a lot of women listeners who want to wear great bras.
And I like learning about bras
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's like it's like a thief who wants to learn about banks.
Yeah.
You know?
you a boob thief?
No, but
You got to get the code.
I
How
gotta
to unlock the back.
the safe.
I wore my Lively bra last night. I did.
how'd
I
that
went
go
out.
for you?
I wore the busty bralette right here.
Oh, cute.
Because I had a crush that was going to be there, wanted to show it out.
Oh.
And?
And him and my friend really hit it off. So
I don't mean to laugh.
so yeah, it worked. I felt great.
Like
so.
mid-date, you like take off the Lively bra. I'm like, here, use this, seal the deal.
You know what's so nice about Lively is that all of their skin tones, they have a lot of different colors. Like they've got something that's going to
Yes.
look great on your skin.
And they have so many sizes, and they don't charge you more for bigger sizes.
Oh, that's great.
I learned this from Michelle before, that the bigger the boob, the more expensive the bra.
Well, more material, I assume, is their
Fine, but
argument.
still,
But yeah.
dick move. Is it
Also,
really that much?
yeah, in a t-shirt, you're not paying less for an extra small than you are an extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lively's figured it out.
Yeah.
Anyways, for a limited time, get $10 off your first order by visiting wearlively.com/Viall and entering Viall at checkout. Again, for $10 off your first order, go to wearlively.com/VIALL and enter code Viall at checkout. Only available in the U.S.
And
Sorry, Shug.
Yeah.
Hey, my sister needs a bra. I'll send it to you, Natalie.
I recommend the busty bralette. It's not guaranteed to
Seal
get
the
you
deal.
laid, but you'll look great.
Does it have some padding in it for a little extra oomph?
No padding. It just does the right
Just comfortable.
Does the
magic.
right
No, it
space.
pushes them up, gets them in line.
Is that not comfortable?
It is.
It is.
I just said comfortable. You said no. It pushes them up.
I was responding to her.
Yeah, we weren't talking to you.
Great.
I love it. Breathable mesh
Yeah.
with a titty push-up. I'm into it.
Get those titties in line.
It's simple health.
Tell us about Simple Health, you two.
It's been way too long. We've been waiting for this for so long. It's making birth control easy.
Is birth control hard?
Can I tell you the first time I started?
I don't want to sound like an ignorant guy, but
No,
I'm just
it's okay. Like when I started taking birth control, I didn't want my parents to know because like they just would have been. So I took a bus in the snow. I had to wait for 4 hours for birth control. It's just like the things we have to do.
And what a different day and age where something like Simple Health comes up and now it can be delivered to your door on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And they take insurance. And even if you don't have insurance, it's affordable. So
Believe it or
It's simple.
not, Simple
We know how
Health is at
it's
your
delivered.
door.
we love convenience.
We love convenience. So that's just what it's discreet and it's convenient, and you get the birth control you need.
Yeah.
They have, I'm assuming, all sorts of types
Yes.
of birth control.
They have
Are there
trusted
lots of different
brands.
types?
Yes.
There are lots of different types.
Because like your bodies are all different. And
Oh,
different-
there's just different, they got different dosages of different
They have
stuff.
100 brands of the pill as well as the patch or ring. I am a big fan of the Nuva ring.
I have split birth control with girlfriends in the
You
past.
have?
Yeah,
You
why not?
have?
Wow.
That.
That's
seems
a
like-
good
woke.
idea.
Seems like a
That is
normal
woke.
thing to do.
That is a great idea.
It's like, yeah, I mean, we both agree that we want to have sex, and we both agree that we're not, a kid at this moment. So yeah, how much
Love
do you
that
how much
idea.
do you need?
The good thing is
Wow,
with
that's a
insurance
movement that
right
you should
now,
start.
a lot of birth control is free. Most birth control is free. So
Right.
it's awesome.
Well, I just want to mention that this service is not a replacement for routine evaluations by your primary care physician or gynecologist.
Oh,
I would like to point that out.
thank you for pointing that out. Look at how much you care.
Don't miss your chance to try this service for free.
Yep.
My listeners get the $20 prescription fee waived by going to simplehealth.com/Viall, Viall, and entering code Viall, Viall at checkout. Again, to try Simple Health for free, go to simplehealth.com/Viall or use code Viall at checkout.
Now go buy the stuff.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How are you? We have, for those of you listening on whatever platform you have, we have what?
Whatever.
There's so many platforms. There are. Some of them are watching, and if the people are watching, they might recognize Bekah Martinez
Yes.
and her trusty co-host of the Chatty Broads, Jess Ambrose. Is it Jessica? Jessie?
I like Jess. I like Jess.
Jess.
Yeah.
You seem like a Jess.
I'm like a Jess,
Just
right?
Jess.
It's technically Jessica, but
You don't
Jessie
seem like a
seems
Jessica.
a little bit like, no.
I don't know.
I need like long blonde hair to be a Jessica.
Once you got your first tattoo, it was all Jess.
it all, yep, True. All the vowel or the consonants are just.
What's
Take
your
it off
neck
any-
tattoo?
It says "Burn Bright, Baby."
Oh yeah.
My daughter's name is Ember, so
Oh.
yeah,
Ember.
Ember with an E. Yeah.
Ambrose, but
Ember Ambrose. Oh yeah, it's a mouthful.
I can't wait. She'll be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's gonna hate me.
She's introducing people. My first day at work. Ember.
So they're gonna think
Ambrose.
they're gonna think she's Ember Ambrose.
Amber.
Ember Ambrose.
She's gonna be like, yeah, I know. Just what do you want to call me?
Put
I
down
don't-
whatever you want.
I don't care.
No, she's gonna be only going by one name eventually.
Oh, no.
It's just gonna be just Ember. So
Yeah,
we'll be
Diamond at a strip club. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
I
joking.
have high hopes for her, you know.
I'm kidding. Sorry.
Wow, this is
Right.
going well.
Two-
This is going so well.
Two sta- two stars. Two stars.
She is 3 years old. My God.
So, just to warm you guys up, Bekah and Jess have a wonderful podcast called the Chatty Broads, and you guys have some diehard fans.
Oh, we do. We send them out for good or for better or for worse.
Kind of like bullies. I was like, I was on their.
No, don't say that.
Yeah,
They're
great.
gonna come after us.
But
No,
really,
no, they won't. We're gonna go on and be like, so they literally, some of our listeners will go like after we have a guest, they'll go on and leave reviews for our guests on their podcast, but hashtag Broad Squad.
Yeah,
Like,
they did
and
that.
they'll get
that.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. I started
pride.
getting DMs being like, why didn't you talk about the podcast that you did on their podcast and your podcast and why I'm like, we'll get to it. Chill out, man. Like every podcast I've ever done, I haven't been like, so just to recap, I've done 5 podcasts this week and other people's, and I just want to give some shout outs to each one of those. And listen, you have some diehard fans, so you're lucky to have them.
Oh my God.
The Broad Squad is real. Yes. Yeah.
What I'm missing on this show is like well, we have like my audience is predominantly women, which is great. But the men, we call them the 10. So I have the 10%ers. I feel like I'm leaving out most of my audience.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10%ers they proudly call themselves the 10%ers.
We have the Broad Bros.
But I don't have a name for the overall audience.
I mean, I was thinking like Viall files, but in the way of like PH, right?
Oh, that's cute.
like little
like
pets
Viall
that-
files. Like
You're gonna
like-
make them like
I don't even
That's
like
hard
the
to
name
say.
of
I
it.
don't want to say the
I wanna
word
say
that you're
it,
thinking
but
of.
I don't know what other one.
What about
ends
Nick's
with style.
chicks?
Nick's
No.
chicks.
What about the boy?
That could backfire.
That sounds like a bunch of
on.
old women.
Hey,
I don't
are
know
you
why.
are you a Nick chick?
Nick's chicks.
You don't have to be a Nick chick. I get
Oh boy.
And then
love
Nick
that.
sticks.
Oh yeah, that's good. I like
Wow,
that.
Nick's chicks and dicks.
I do like that.
Ooh,
And
what
then you
about
could-
Chicks and
Nick's
dicks.
You could
chicks with
intro,
dicks?
hello, morning, chicks and dicks. I kind of like that.
Just get a t-shirt says chicks and dicks.
Ooh.
Happy Pride Month, chicks with dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got-
There you go.
we got those
Inclusive.
too.
I know. I love this. So inclusive.
Well, yeah. I wanted to have you guys on, not only because I was bullied to have you guys on.
You're gonna keep getting the one.
Yeah,
star
you're
reviews.
not helping
Yeah.
yourself.
I
here.
kid.
Well, we're glad to be here.
We're very happy to be
You have,
happy to
a,
have
you have a
you.
nice studio. You're a nice man, and you have a nice podcast.
Nice man. I immediately sounded 70. He's a nice man, you know? He's
I always see him out there watering his lawn.
gave me a nickel for some gum. It was really sweet.
He offered us cookies when we got
That's your
here.
alter
So
ego, nice
sweet.
Nick.
Is Arie is the same age as you, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think
Actually-
you're older.
He's a little younger. He looks 20 years older than me.
Ooh, burn.
Wow. You still have all your. Do you dye your hair? Nice. You have.
Really?
I have way more grays than you do. I have
Yeah,
so many
me
gray hairs.
too.
I don't believe in aging, so I don't.
You're manifesting looking 25.
I just look in the mirror every morning and go, no.
Not today. It's gonna hit you.
Today, father time.
It's gonna hit you like a bus when you're like 50. All of a sudden you
I am
look
waiting.
80.
I am waiting for that day where I wake up and be like, it's over.
Have you made a deal with the devil?
Probably.
Oh, somewhere along the
would.
line.
With Joel Osteen. Sorry, I'm not gonna bring in inside jokes.
Well, final episode. We made it. You guys had a fun little topic, or do you want to just so for the people listening, we already talked about The Bachelor a little bit. We're not going to get into episode 5 with Bekah and Jess because this was recorded before that. It's like a whole timing thing.
You can also go listen to it on our podcast because we do very in-depth.
Very tough. Do you have any
coverage.
quick thoughts about the season so far?
Oh wait, what did we say? Mike is so perfect.
Yeah.
Mike is so perfect. Luke is so scary. Tyler is so hot.
Cam is so annoying, but now he's gone.
But now Cam's it. But
Yeah.
that was
Cameras.
On your Instagram page, is that a mock-up Bachelor poster with
Yes,
Big
I-
Mike?
I made that.
You made that?
yes.
Good for you.
I have
Photoshop queen.
I have a Photoshop app, and so I can do it very
There
quick.
he is. Look
I
at
am-
him. He's so
And I even
good.
did the tagline, so it's
Very good.
because it's about damn time.
What does it say on his jacket? He's holding his jacket
Oh, that's
open.
his thing.
Embroidered.
I'm not sure what it says.
It says, "I love you, silly."
No, it actually says your future baby daddy,
Does it?
which I don't really like.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's a little smarmy.
That's not going to work for him.
Especially with his story.
Did not lean into that.
Where he was like,
Anyway,
yeah.
he is a dreamboat, and I am 100% behind
Yeah.
Big Mike being the Bachelor.
At this point, he could literally kill someone on the show, and I still want him to be the Bachelor.
Yeah, that's not true.
No,
No.
it's borderline.
Did you guys notice when Mike told his sad story, they didn't really find out what his sad story was?
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
I'm curious. That could, he's like, I really I wasn't there for.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to find that out in
Maybe.
this episode?
Does he have a 1-0? Did he?
Yes, he has a one-on-one this week.
So we probably have already talked about it. And right now, I don't know because I haven't watched the episode, but we opened this episode with talking about it.
You're going to sound like a time
And
traveler.
I'm really curious about what I said.
Exactly.
This is going to be wild.
Oh, man, the Twilight Zone.
Oh man. Well, my guess is I'm going to make a prediction. He was in the Air Force, correct? Part of me
Was he?
thinks maybe he was.
He's in the Air Force? Why aren't they
Gone.
talking about that more?
He
I didn't
mentioned
know
it at
that.
the beginning.
Because
Yeah.
he's not getting his airtime.
Well, also, we have already heard a bit of his sob story in the past, when he talked about his miscarriage with his former girlfriend.
No, I know, but I'm saying he said he wasn't there for her, and I don't know
I
what
think he
meant
was
by that.
deployed. This is my romantic
Okay.
perception.
If that's the case, why didn't they play that? That's yes, for that very reason. Be like, oh, you were serving our country. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
oh my God, my panties would have been melting.
Yeah.
Like so, but like that's why didn't they? If that was
I'm
it,
not
you would
sure.
feel like that would be a moment. That,
I was actually really confused because I was
or
like,
maybe they're saving it for his one-on-one.
I was like, was he not there for her while she was pregnant or like after the miscarriage? I was very confused on those.
Or
I
maybe it
will
was
say they
emotional.
like to save those moments for the one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it
That
is
is true.
possible they were like, Mike, stop talking. Like that actually does happen. We're like, too soon, too
totally.
soon. You don't know this, but you're not going home yet.
No, that actually happened for me where they were like, hey, can you guys stop talking about your families? And I was like, what?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Second date, bro.
Wow.
They said that to you?
Yeah, no, they were like, hey, can we like read? And then I remember actually, Arie was just like, why? And he got kind of mad. He was like, why? We want to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
And they were just like, next week is hometown.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
in
wait. Like,
fairness to this show, yes, it is a show. And like, if you like talk all of the juicy stuff at once, then
yeah, and they won't be able to air it all if it's just a
you
little
can't air
like
it all.
10-second
And
blurb.
I know when you want to get to know each other, it's like, oh, do you like, ripped jeans? I like ripped jeans, but America's not interested in if you both like ripped jeans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Hold on. Paint the picture for me. Are you like in an intimate moment on a date and then some guy comes running with his
everyone's
headphones on? and
standing-
he's like, stop it.
Everyone's standing there. Like
Oh.
the producers are standing like this.
Arie
Make it better. Make it better.
I heard that Arie wasn't necessarily easy to work with as the lead, and he was kind of like, listen, at the end of the day, as the lead, you are there to. I've said that you're there to find love. It's genuine. It's real. You're also the lead of the show, so you have to like help with the show in terms of producing it, and that is there's a time and a place to have certain conversations. That's fine. That's normal. That doesn't make it inauthentic. You're just like, hey, listen, do you like this person? Yes. Well, we don't need their whole story right
Sure.
now.
Do you think they said the same thing about Colton after his season, that he was difficult?
I think he was difficult in a different way.
okay.
But sure,
Okay.
In what way were you difficult?
I wasn't.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very pliable
child.
No, I mean, listen, I had a relationship with them, and I understood that. Like, I think
You understood what was expected.
I
at the
understood.
time.
Like, I think sometimes, in fairness to leads, it can be very nerve wracking, and you still feel like, can I trust these people? Do they have my best interests in mind? It's very easy to get paranoid in that world. In fairness to anyone who's in it, and even for the lead,
yeah.
and at that point, I had a great relationship with the producers, and I just chose to trust them. And I was like, listen, this is what I want. I communicated with them all my feelings. I was very open with them, so I wasn't worried about them using it against me. And they, in return, were very open with me. So I was like, hey, like, this is what, how I'm feeling. It was a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
I chose to trust them, and then therefore they trusted me. And I think, so it just depends if leads are going to, like, I've heard leads will like not tell the producers who their favorites are. It's like, fine. Well, then you're kind of only fucking yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll get in your head about like, well, I don't want to tell them because they're gonna mess with this person. And they're producing a show, but they're not as cynical as like sometimes people make themselves out to be in their head.
Sure. As these big bad evil people who are just trying to screw you over, kind of.
Yeah. So it's kind of what you make of it, and I just chose to trust them, and for the most part, I had a great experience. Working with them.
I think it works better for you like that too, even as a contestant. Like if you can kind of just not be difficult and just kind of. It's funny. I knew somebody through a friend who just went on Hannah's season and was offed night one.
Offed.
Was he the guy?
Sounds like they were killed.
The snipers.
He was a surfer,
Hunter,
and
right?
he was Hunter.
You mentioned Hunter last week.
So, he mentioned something to a friend where he was just like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Hunter.
Oh, he's so handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's more handsome. I mean, like, I saw his photos on his Instagram. He's
nice.
cuter than that.
Surfer.
He looks short.
I don't know.
Wow, Nick.
I don't know,
I
but
think he was little.
But he was like, yeah, when I was doing my intro package, they were trying to make me do this cheesy stuff on the beach, and I just like wasn't having it. And I'm like, dude, you're not gonna
That's
like.
why you went home, bro.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like, don't be difficult. Don't think you're too good for the show.
That happened. It's just like, why did you come here?
Yeah. Why do you
know?
think you're
Like,
too good for it? And why are you? I don't know.
It doesn't make them. You can not be difficult. Like some cast members will show up and point out cameras, and they'll tell other cast members that the producers are all fucking with them.
Totally.
And then that's a good way to go home, especially if the lead's not like, if the lead's like, yeah, they're fine, but like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're cute, sure, but like they're not my top 4. No,
Mm-hmm.
you're out.
Yeah, you're also not going to get any air. People are like, why didn't I get airtime? It's like, well, maybe you weren't saying anything provocative or interesting.
No, it's not that. Yeah, but like just don't be a dick.
Well, yeah, of the people you're working with.
Yeah, and so yeah,
You can be a dick on camera, then you'll get your airtime.
sure, but like you just don't be difficult or like ruin
Yeah,
the
totally.
process, and like you're kind of ruining it for other people, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And again, I'm in fairness to producers, like, they have a job to do, but like sometimes they just want people to express themselves
And be
honestly.
themselves. And like,
They want to be the most outrageous versions of themselves.
I had a really fun time, like with the producer. Anyway, we can
Yeah.
go on about Bachelor stuff forever.
I think we have some fun topics we were going to get into that we decided to talking about FOMO and loneliness and a bunch of
Hashtag
other stuff,
relatable.
getting to know each other. Before we get into that, we're going to take a quick break. I get a lot of my workout routines from OpenFit. I don't like going to the gym.
Right.
I posted a video on my Instagram of me boxing and doing kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
Some of those moves I stole from OpenFit.
Oh, nice.
What?
But I
People
didn't, because like I needed to show on the gram, so I didn't show OpenFit. But
Right.
to be honest, I got some of those exercises from OpenFit.
That's awesome. People are always writing in being like, how do I stay fit? They're like, they want you to tell them.
Well, it's the first trick is to not waste time driving to the gym
Mm-hmm.
and then talking to people at the gym.
Mm.
Like actually work out, be efficient. You only have so many hours in the day. Everyone always complains about how busy they are, and they are. Well, some people exaggerate how busy they are, but regardless, find the time. And if you can minimize the time that you actually need to work out, you will get more out of it. And OpenFit does that by just being on your phone or your laptop, your iPod, your TV. You can, in a moment, be doing a workout by many, many wonderful trainers and specialists and all these different classes. What do they got? Bar classes and stuff, and
Extend bar.
extend bar.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's a litany of options to get in shape.
Ooh, and are there workouts in all different times? Like one's 30 minutes, one's an hour, one's 20
They have a
minutes.
buffet of options.
Is a buffet?
Hashtag no excuses.
Truly. Yeah. And OpenFit has changed the way I work out, as I've said. And with my code Viall, you can join me on a fitness journey to personalized just for you. Again, use my code Viall and start using OpenFit for your journey to a healthier life. Right now, during the OpenFit 30-day challenge, my listeners get a special extended 30-day free trial membership to OpenFit, where you can lose up to 15 pounds in 30 days when you text Viall to 303030. You will get full access to OpenFit, all the workouts and nutrition information totally free. Again, just text Viall to 303030. Standard messages and data rates may apply. I mean, I know we talk about natural habits a little bit.
For good reason.
Jess and Bekah are proud customers of the
fans.
Natural
Actual
Habits family.
fans. Yeah.
Fans.
So you were so kind to send some our way.
What a nice man.
We're such a nice man.
Generous.
Nice Nick.
I-
Nice Nick.
I'm the nicest person I know. I really am. Rochelle. No, it's a joke, Rochelle. She's like, I don't care. I'm just going to let people know he's not that great.
Nope. No, he was so nice, and he sent us some of the natural habits. And listen, I am an essential oils snob.
Oh.
Like it's hard to please me. And this is actually some of the best.
Well, it's hard to find USDA or certified organic essential oils. And that's what these are. In fact, I'll let you tell your story in a second, but I just want to say that I got a migraine the other day, and I can't remind me, was it Clarity or which one? Center of the roll-on.
It's okay that you haven't memorized it.
I know one of the other ones. Clearly, so I was just rubbing it all over my forehead and my temples, and with the I loved the peppermint and helped with my nausea and everything. It was great. So I literally have it on my bedside table. Yeah.
And I liked it so much that it's Father's Day coming up, and I'm like, my dad burns candles like nobody's business, and I'm always lecturing him that's not good. No. And after like experimenting with yours in my bedroom, it was so nice. First of all, it's romantic. Put that in the bedroom, people. It's nice. It smells amazing, and it's a sexy diffuser.
Right?
It's very
ceramic.
nice. So I thought I'd give my dad a sexy diffuser.
It is. Listen, I'm a guy. I use essential oils. I mean, like my audience on the podcast, my customer base is about 90% women, which is great. But I think men can benefit from it too. For the fathers out there, for the men in your life,
for the men who have it all,
they have it all. Like for their home office, they get stressed out. They have anxiety. Help them out, and it's safer than candles. Your air fresheners that are synthetic. Try it out. Try Natural Habits. NHOils.com. All new customers get 20% off. Free shipping domestically.
And they're safe too, by the way, for like pregnant women, which I just was. And
if you like baths, put a few drops in a nice warm bath.
It's the best.
Which really
a little lavender, a little peppermint.
Yeah, or you can, instead of wool sheets, instead of dryer sheets that are poisonous, you get a wool ball, put a couple drops.
I do that. I put
it, and it'll freshen up your laundry. Yeah. NHOils.com. Try them out, and if you give it to the guy in your life, it's one of those great gifts where you give it to them and then kind of use it.
Exactly. Totally. You benefit. It's the
and you're still a hero, and you get and they'll love it. So Father's Day is coming up.
God, you got a sexy website.
Get your orders in now. You'll have it by Father's Day. If this is Wednesday, if you're listening it now, go to NHOils.com.
Get your dad a sexy Father's Day gift.
Get some oils. Use it for yourself. Yeah.
It's a very gender neutral gift.
All right, great. Ladies, Bekah, you had a great idea. I asked, what do you guys want to talk about?
I think it was actually Jess's idea.
Was it?
Give her credit. She is the brain and mind of this operation.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
I'm the soul.
You're the soul. I was gonna say like the face, the.
No, that's actually more realistic.
This is a talentless face.
I am just the Instagram followers to promote my. Isn't that funny when people will say that, where they're like, "You have no talent. You were just on a show," and I'm like,
"So what do you do?"
Yeah, what do you
do now? What do you do?
What do you do with all your?
Or when I say something like I say like, "Oh, I work from home," and then people are like, "What? What's your job?" And I'm like, "Okay, you haven't caught on to this yet. I see." Okay, well, no. Jess's idea was this term is coined from who?
So Tracy Ellis Ross was in an interview. I know, right?
Name drop. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds great.
Diana Ross's daughter. She's an amazing actress. Yeah, she's an amazing actress. Yeah. And she was talking about the concept. She's single, doesn't really want kids, and the idea of being alone, and this term making friends with loneliness.
So that was kind of our topic idea, was making friends with loneliness.
I make friends with loneliness all the time.
Well, that's why I actually thought it would be interesting, because you're very lonely. No, I'm just kidding. You're single.
Tell me about me, Bekah.
You're a very lonely,
I don't know
sad
this,
man.
Nick, but I'm just looking at you. You
seem lonely.
Did you see? Well, no, you probably did. Did you see my Instagram story yesterday? It was kind of funny.
I'll pull it up.
Were you crying or something?
I was kind of pretend crying. I was in the car. I was in the car and my Bluetooth wasn't on. And what's the song where it was? I want to know what love is. And I just started recording my face, and I just zoomed in, and I just looked like it was. Oh no! It did well.
Bachelor round 2. Didn't they have someone come on twice as the Bachelor?
Yeah.
Boy.
Yes.
But truthfully though, it's I'm lonely all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly.
He really is.
More often than not, I'm lonely.
Well, are you alone or are you lonely? See, there's a difference between the
both. And also, like, as I've gotten older, I'm very comfortable with being alone.
Yes.
I had a hot date last night. It actually went quite well.
Really?
Yeah, I'm optimistic.
Ooh.
Well, you had a date last night, but the night before, we're neighbors. And so the night before, you called me because something had fallen through. And you were like, hey, I'm just going home to make a frozen pizza. And I was like, honey, you can come over and make your frozen pizza here. And so we did. But we actually got onto this topic of, being at a certain age or kind of coming to a point in your life, people are getting married, they have children, and there is a level of FOMO that happens. But I was saying to Nick, but I'm also pretty happy in my loneliness.
Well, sometimes there's the opposite where you're getting married or having children before all of your friends. So I'm the first in aside from Jess, the first in my friends to have a baby. And a lot of people don't really understand that. And I'm just kind of like, come over, I want you over. But
did you have a baby you were tired of people calling you baby Bekah?
Yeah. I thought that, people thought I was
just want to prove
immature.
them wrong.
So I was like, you know what? It's the ultimate act of maturity. Getting knocked up 2 months into a relationship. That is the definition of maturity.
And Ruthie is the
Suck it,
ultimate for the
guys.
brand.
Yeah, Ruthie is so good for my brand.
No, yeah. I mean, I think as you get older, now the reason I brought up my date is because, we were, in the first date, you're kind of talking about, like your dating history or whatever. And I always get the, do you even want a girlfriend kind of thing. And I'm like, listen, I'm just very comfortable. And I'm comfortable with being alone.
It's a great place to be.
And I take pride in the fact that I don't need a girlfriend, in the sense that I think a lot of people in relationships are in relationships because they need someone. And then sometimes that's when things like infidelity happen or complacency happens, because when they really think about it, they're in this relationship. Maybe at first they like the person, but that fear of not having someone on a Sunday afternoon to go to the flea market with.
Totally.
So, or when it's another Wednesday night, especially as you get older, where your married friends are hanging out, and you're just kind of like, well, I could go out, and I don't want to do that because I'm older and I don't need to go clubbing on a Wednesday.
Right. That's just depressing.
Or I could just sit here by myself and read. And and so that sometimes it's a lonely feeling.
Yeah, and I think the thing about loneliness too it just stretches across everyone, because it's something like sexuality. Everyone feels lonely. Like, as a single person, you feel lonely. As I'm married with a kid, and I feel lonely all the time. And I love my husband and I love my child, but there's moments you can be in a room full of people.
Oh yeah,
and
you
feel
can be out
completely
clubbing
alone.
and be the loneliness you've ever
Well,
felt
that's what
in your life.
when you brought that up, I thought about that, because to your point, everyone has a way of feeling lonely. I do think our society makes it easier to feel even more lonely with things like social media.
And are you guys saying lonely as in yearning for something other than yourself? Or are you saying
I think that's a really good way of explaining
FOMO.
it, of seeking deeper connection. Because sometimes you can have all of these surface level friends and still feel like you're not really seen or known. And I would say that for me, that's my definition of loneliness, is not being seen, not seeing others, just being disconnected from your fellow.
And like Nick said too, when it comes to social media, it's really screwed us up, because there's this weird, almost like virtual reality version of not being alone. So you're in your home and you're seeing people and you are kind of interacting with people. Like, my God, Black Mirror has interactive TV shows. You feel for a moment like you're not alone, and it's kind of this head fake. And yet you are alone.
Well, you also see the perception of everyone on social media having
It's
a
the
great time,
reel.
the highlight reel of, and then you're like, well, how was it? And they're like, the next day, it's fine.
Yeah. And
You
to
didn't
your
miss
point,
out on anything.
it's all surface level connections that you're making, and where are the deep conversations, and that really is what makes us feel alive, isn't it?
I will say, at the same time, social media can do the opposite. Like, I was posting the other night of, as I tend to do every now and then, I was just like, I feel really trapped right now by my daughter, because she's exclusively breastfeeding and she won't take a bottle. And even now I'm looking at the time, because I'm like, oh my God, I have this many hours until she's going to break down. And it makes me feel a little trapped. But as I was talking about that on my Instagram, I had so many mothers, including some people from The Bachelor, even Amanda Stanton was like, my girls were the same way, I went through that. And just actually having that kind of community online can actually sometimes be on the opposite end really empowering. And I'm like, oh, I feel so much less alone. I'm so glad that this will pass, and I know other people go through the same thing.
When have you felt the loneliest?
Well, this is such a good question. Jess, why don't you answer first?
That's tough. I mean, I would say, like Bekah was saying, as far as having a baby, I was the first of my friends to get married and the first to have a child. And I love my daughter, but she was a surprise. I was not planning to have her when I had her. And the first few months of her life, I just felt, I was like devastated. I was alone constantly, and I was checking social media constantly because I was just sitting there seeing all my friends going out, having a great old time, and she's stuck to my boob.
Like you were grounded?
A little bit. Yeah. And you know, that process, that lasted for a long while, but at the same time, it was something that was so necessary for me because I did realize that I was in a position where I wasn't willing to really just sit and see myself, and I had to like take this moment and be like, this is an opportunity for me to like date me.
Yeah.
I need to fall in love with myself here.
Great.
I'm by myself. What am I going to do? I'm going to get to know me. Well, you know, it was a lot of introspection. Little things like this might sound silly, but I'd look in the mirror and I would literally talk to myself. I'd talk through what I was kind of processing, and I would say it out loud, and I would say what I was sad about, and I'd say what I was frustrated about, but then I always would try to follow through with something positive. Like, listen, you know that you're fun. You know that you're smart. You know that you have friends. And that ended up putting me in a position where I realized that so much of my loneliness had really started to debilitate me in like a depression way where,
Totally.
you know, but then you stop reaching out because you're depressed and you think, oh my God, nobody wants to hang out with me anymore because I'm a boring ass mom.
I want to speak
no
to
one
this.
likes me. And then you get stuck in this rut and then you stop reaching out. Yeah.
Well, okay, so my loneliest time was I was in college, and my first year of college, I had a really serious boyfriend who moved down south with me. I was going to UC Irvine, and I made the mistake because I had never moved to a new place before. I took for granted all the friends I had had all my life, and I didn't try to develop new relationships with people, and I didn't maintain relationships. And then we broke up, and it was not only devastating because of the breakup, but I suddenly looked around and I was like, I have no one. And it was actually kind of crazy because I was so depressed, and any friend that would be like a new friendship, I was like, hey, let's hang out. Like I was like clinging on to them, and I could tell that the way my energy was, people didn't want to be around me. Like I was not fun at that time.
That can be true too.
It was like a trap. Like I could tell no one, I was like that desperate person, not for romantic relationships, but for platonic friendships.
That happened to me once in early breakup where I took it really hard, and I was really self-loathing, and I always wanted to talk about it, and then I got mad at my friends because they didn't have my back, and then I was like, dude, I wouldn't want to hang out with me either.
I suck right now.
I was like, and you project that negative energy, and your friends are like, dude, I can't deal with Nick right now.
Yeah, and especially not new friends. So new friends are trying to make their like, hell no.
That's I'm talking about like my best friends who are like, I love you, but like, let me know when you stop sucking.
Yeah.
That can be a real thing.
Well, so now I have like this, what I kind of call like my loneliness trauma. Like every once in a while I'll be like, fuck, do I have like enough friends? Like, have I been nurturing my relationships? Because like I'm afraid that they're going to slip through my fingers. Like
I call that Thursday night. Go into the weekend. What am I doing? Yeah. The worst part is when you anytime I'm feeling down, or like it's very easy for me to compound and make it worse. You ever have those days where you maybe text or reach out to a couple people, put out those feelers, and they don't get back to you? Oh. And then it's 9:00 at night, and you're like, you think to yourself, I want to go out. Yes. My hair's looking good today. Yes. I don't know, I'm feeling myself, and you're like, kind of want to go out. You put out some feelers, and then no one gets back to you, and then it's like 9:45. You're like, you kind of like have that moment to yourself. You're like, I don't think this is happening tonight. and then all of a sudden you're just like, you're thinking, and then you kind of reflect on the day. You're just like, I could have died. How many days would go by before they find my body? Because no one's called me. No one's reached out. Like, no.
I would be rotting here.
I could be. I live by myself. I don't have a dog. Like, at what point does my body start smelling before my neighbors be like, "Is Nick?"
Shug's like, "What is that?"
I know.
And I really get depressed and feel sorry for myself about like, and then I start thinking to myself like, do people even like hang out with me? Like. am I obnoxious? Where like, am I just not a cool hang? Like I will go down a rabbit hole where I'm just like,
it's actually kind of nice to hear this from a boy, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
every Thursday night.
Also, but also like this is gonna sound dumb, but it's like, oh, I'd look at you and be like, you're a cool guy who probably like has a lot of friends and goes out a lot. Like I would think that, and then hearing you say that, I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I'm not the only person who goes through this self-deprecating whirlwind.
It's all perspective. I feel very fortunate throughout my life. I feel very fortunate to have the number of friends that I have, and because I never settled down and had a family, I keep making new friends in my life. It's Suge and I haven't been that friends for that long. I've only known her for like a year and a half, and I met Rochelle when we started doing the show, and like the Bachelor experience, you meet a bunch of new friends, and I'm still like best friends with people I even went to high school with, right? So I'm very fortunate that way. People I used to work with, and like you grow apart or closer as time goes on. But as you live your life and you settle, it's not the same type of friendships you had in high school or college, where every day you had a group of friends, and every day,
your crew,
every day you knew you were hanging. It wasn't like, do you want to hang out tomorrow? It was, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, like, what are we doing tomorrow? And that certainty of having that core group was great. And as you become adult, like that just doesn't happen.
And that can be hard to cope with.
And you're just like, fuck, I suck. Like, I got dumped by all my friends.
I know, we just don't see it coming. There needs to be like billboards or something.
Loneliness awareness.
You will lose friends.
And then you have like Suge and I were talking about, we have friends that are like, they're in relationships, and like,
and they disappear.
We don't get invited, and you're thinking, I'm a good fifth wheel, man. Like,
I'll come hang.
I don't like talk about being single. Like, I'm not that guy who shows up with the friend group and be like, well, you guys look super happy. I wish I had someone. No, I'm a cool fifth wheel.
I think this is a good PSA, though. I think it's a good PSA. Listen,
don't
single people, invite your married friends out, and married friends, invite your single friends out, or whoever. Like everyone feels alone. We're all in it together.
And sometimes I don't want to go to game night. Because I don't want to hear about your stories. I don't.
Absolutely.
But I still want the invite.
Yes.
Like, let me say no.
Yeah.
And I will invite you sometimes to the night scene that I go out to that you don't want to, because you're going to be at bed by 9:45. But I bet you want me to ask.
Yes. Yes. I want to still feel cool.
Yeah.
I want to still.
I want to be wanted. That's all I want.
Doesn't everyone? Well, it's also hard as you get older too. Your relationships with the people you've had forever do change too. Where like I know with some of my friends I still have since high school, I'm like, well, we used to smoke weed and walk around Target, and I don't think we're gonna do that anymore. Like we could, but it's not gonna be as fun as when we were 15. So like, what does our new relationship look like? And that can be difficult. There's so much navigating that comes with it.
I once in high school, I used to work at a grocery store, and on a Friday night, me and my friends went to go buy candy. That was fun. It's like, do you guys want to get soda and chips? It was one of the best times of my life.
The greatest.
But I went on the intercom where they would announce like discounts on aisle 3, and I went and sung Roxanne from the Police.
That's great.
It's a good moment.
Now, one of my friends actually had a police interceptor, like radio interceptor. I don't know how we got that, but we used to drive around and go past drive-thrus because you could intercept their intercom and like mess with their orders. Yeah, and like it was crazy. And you could also go past Walmart and like how they have little radios. Like we would literally be like, this is Jacob, I'm gonna clock out early, and they'd be like, okay, like that sounds good, and we'd be like talking to people. And
they're like, Jacob, you just keep clocking out early, you're fired.
If you did that now, would you like at what point you'd be like, yeah, I'm a terrible person.
So you think it's fun in high school?
I'm a degenerate. Like,
you hit a certain point.
Who are you? Like, what, man? I don't have anything to do.
I'm just intercepting drive-thru orders. Yeah, no. So how do you cope with? Come on, guys, let's give people, how do you make friends with being lonely? How did you talk to yourself in the mirror?
Yes, I talked to myself in the mirror, but I think it really was reframing things. And I think reframing is so important. Like I could look at it and be like, nobody likes me. I'm all alone. I'm a mother now. Nobody cares, and do this whole like, self-damaging thing and talk negatively to myself. Or you can reframe it in a way of, I'm enjoying being alone right now because I might not have this opportunity for a few months to just be alone and get to know who I am. I'm going to learn about about who I am. And I think reframing just in general is something that is really vital. You can go out and say, I'm alone eating at a restaurant, or you can make it a little more romantic and be like, here I am at this restaurant eating alone. People are probably wondering, who's she with? Is she alone? Oh my God, is she French? Like,
yes.
whatever.
No, that is true.
Is she French?
No, there's when I first moved to Chicago, the first month was great because I only knew a couple people. And to that point, it made sense to myself that I didn't know a lot of people. And so because it made sense to myself, I gave myself permission to do things I wouldn't normally do, say in Milwaukee when I had a group of friends. Like date night with myself. Literally, I call it that. And I would go to like a Chicago steakhouse and I would sit at the bar and I'd order a steak and have a glass of wine and I'd be totally content. And there was no like self-judgment. I was having a great time.
Until month 2 rolled around.
Well, yeah, but like, and then like, then I become the mysterious guy. I mean, I've never been hit on so much. And it's always a group of women be like, so why are you here by yourself?
Oh yeah,
and
there's nothing sexier than a man.
I would go to a bar after work and I would just go sit and have a beer. And like usually if I was at a different time, I'd be like, I'm a loser. I'm at a bar drinking by myself. But when I first moved to Chicago, the first 2 weeks, I knew I literally gave myself permission. And so I would go and the hot bartenders would be like, oh, so why are you here by yourself? I'm like, oh, I just moved here. I don't know anyone. Oh, really? Do you want to go to a concert with me and my hot friends? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And it was like this whole, and it's so funny because yeah, I mean, I wasn't lying. I had the story to tell, but there was literally no difference in doing it in the first 2 weeks than doing it literally at any point.
2 years
You just are confident in the fact of, because like, let's say it wasn't moving. Let's say I did that now, right? And someone came out and I'd be like, to be honest, my friends were out of town and I felt like just going out and being around people and I had no one to go with. So I just decided to come and figured I'd meet. And like, I guarantee you if I said it like that and a girl walked up, she wouldn't like think I'm a loser. She'd be like,
of course not.
Well, come hang out and play darts with me and my friends. And I'd be like, I'll play darts with you,
I mean, yeah. And even just in a friendship way. So we go to this wine tasting down the street at this little corner bar and I see people there all the time wine tasting by themselves. And I'm like, wow, props to you.
That's the thing is like, and again, I say this that if I've never done this in LA and I don't do it because I feel like a loser.
Because we create
but
narratives.
I have to, and I have to remind myself because to your point, Bekah, the people who do that and when they look like they are totally happy doing that and they're not, they have a smile on their face, there's not a person who sees that doesn't think, I wish I could do that.
Right. And whatever energy you put out, that's what you're going to attract. So if you go and you're like slumped by yourself, feeling like I'm so depressed and I'm so alone at a coffee shop, you're probably not going to be attracting the type of friendships maybe that you want or people in general. But if you are sitting at a Starbucks by yourself and you are framing it in the way of I'm enjoying this time alone.
You're sitting casually like you are right
casually,
now,
just
watching the people go by.
Not a place to be.
Yeah, feeling mysterious. Like you're going to attract.
Feeling French.
Feeling very French.
Sitting there with your French self.
The mixologist bartender, sir, like how'd you get that mustache to curl up that way? It's so cool. Like, wow.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's what you put out, you're going to attract. And there's something really beautiful about embracing that time in your life, I think, when you do feel alone.
I love what you said about, dating yourself and getting to know yourself and falling in love with yourself is just so key. And why wouldn't you take that beautiful person to the movies for the night or whatever?
What's your favorite thing to do alone besides masturbating?
Yeah, that was like literally the first thing that
everyone's brain went right there.
That's my go. Just like
I'd rather not do that in front of people, honestly. Everyone's different.
Not in front of you.
You
don't want a whole audience with that?
No, actually.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes an audience is kind of hot. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Depends how.
More often than not, I'd rather be alone.
What's your favorite thing to do by yourself?
Yeah, no, Jess, you start.
I love going and getting a drink alone. I think it's so
like
nice.
that.
I love going to a bar, like to people watch, like to sit by myself and just, I don't know, deep breaths.
I do like going to a coffee shop and working, and like I like the energy of the people. Also, I like getting a watermelon and cutting it in half.
What?
And then grabbing a spoon.
What?
Are we talking about masturbating right now?
Yeah, I can see how you went there. That was a miss by me. I make one hole.
I got the watermelon in half.
And listen, I put in the oven for 350 degrees for like a quick 10 minutes. No,
You put the watermelon in the oven?
For warmth, for like human warmth.
I like eating a watermelon. I cut it like
second.
my favorite way to eat a watermelon is you just cut it in half and grab a spoon.
Just go for it.
Not in public,
And you're just like,
right?
by myself. And I like put on a movie and I'm just like scooping watermelon out of the bowl. It's like a
That's why you have
self-made bowl.
6-pack.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's your
scooping ice
specialty.
cream.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
scooping watermelon.
I eat plenty. I ate too much sugar.
I know what I like to do. I like to go to the museum, like the art museum by myself, because I hate
great.
going. I
such a
hate going to
flex.
the museum with other people because you try to go on a date, then you're like, am I going at the right pace? Am I like staring at this painting too long? Maybe they're bored. Like, ooh, I also like going to the movies by myself because I don't want to talk to the person with me. I just want to sit and enjoy my movie. So, but the museum especially, I know that is kind of like an
It's a cultured
intellectual
flex. Yeah, it's like.
but it's still like it's kind of fun. You could just like go somewhere where you can look at
Yeah, true.
things,
Yeah.
like not even a museum, even just to the store. Like I love just taking as long as I want in each aisle. I love grocery shopping by myself. I put in a podcast and I just really take my time. Like, do I need this? Do I need that? I make it a nice leisurely event.
Do you ever go to the grocery store and not know what to get?
I just walk through the aisle.
like
I
every
wander.
day.
I wander.
It's like
through
a
the
dark hole
aisles.
for me.
Yeah.
I'll get anxiety. I'd be like, I don't know what I want because also I'm a single serving guy because I'm lonely.
Yeah.
And I go to the grocery store like 5 times a week, because I don't grocery shop because I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Shug might be like, hey, do you want to get some dim sum? And I'll be like, goddamn right I do. And then like the food I bought, it's just going to go to waste. And so I'll go every day. And so usually when I grocery shop, it's kind of like, what do I want to eat tonight? And there's like a 10 minutes of like anxiety of like, I don't know what to
I have a hard
get.
time in the grocery store. I end up, I don't know why. It's because of that. It's because I don't have like a menu of what I'm gonna make, and it gives me a bit
Amazon
of hype.
Fresh, guys. Amazon
I
Fresh.
can't do that.
They'll
That's
deliver
like-
in like 2 hours.
But then you have to look up
Same day?
particularly what you want. That's what's hard about Amazon Fresh for me. I prefer to go to Trader Joe's because it's small, so I can just wander through every aisle and just pick up what I need as I go. I don't need a list. I don't need a plan.
Trader Joe's great pickup spot.
Oh, great!
I
pickup
have gotten
spot. I
asked
agree.
out on dates.
You have or haven't?
Yes, at Trader Joe's multiple times. Nowhere else, just Trader Joe's.
I think
Trader
it's
Joe's.
Trader
a
Joe's.
playlist.
Trader
Yes.
Joe's.
They have a really good playlist
There's-
that makes you just
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
There's
So
something-
Whole
yeah.
Foods is not the...
Whole Foods is a
Oh
little
my God.
too. It's a little too.
I don't want to
sexy.
pick up anyone at Whole
No.
Foods. I don't know what.
Trader Joe's.
No, there's gonna be some douchey Venice guy who thinks he's better than me because he juices celery every morning, and I'm just no. Also, I have
keep
a
up.
boyfriend now.
I live in Venice, and while I
pointed to Nick.
do
He
make a
lives.
vegetable smoothie every morning that includes celery, but it's not the juice. It also has the fiber in it.
You need the fiber. I'm over this whole celery juice craze.
Yeah.
drives me nuts.
It's wasteful.
It is, and it's
wasteful.
expensive now. Since everyone's doing it, it's jacked
No,
up the price of celery to like
literally-
$6 a bundle.
I put spinach, celery, a cucumber, a little bit of orange juice, and blueberries, and ice, and I put water in it, and I blend it, and I drink the pitcher every morning.
Protein or no protein in it?
Most of the time, I don't put protein.
That sounds
and
good.
Then I'll work out, and then I'll have a bunch of eggs afterwards. There you go,
Sounds
guys.
lovely.
That's
A
the
bunch of
secret.
eggs. I had an ex who, after he worked out, would make like 6 eggs just because he
I
was
have like
like
4, but I also like eggs.
Like
I'm
raw,
not doing
like
it to
it's gone?
I'm not doing it to like bulk up. I'm not the beefiest
Gains?
guys. I'm not. Yeah, I don't worry about my gains. I'm just trying to like.
I thought you were a Luke P kind of guy.
No, no. But yeah, I do. Yeah, but I'm not a norm. I'm not a Venice guy. I'm just a guy who lives.
I'm just a nice man.
Yeah.
Just a nice
Just a
man
nice
in
guy
Venice.
named Nick.
I think movies are great though too. I wish more people would go to the movies by themselves.
I love going to the movies by
Seems
myself
like
because
a-
then you can really sob and cry if you need to.
You're so right.
And there's also some, camaraderie with the people in the
You're all
theater.
laughing together.
Right.
Well, that's why
You
I
were scared too.
That's why I like seeing it with someone, because I like to look over and be like, "Did you think that was funny?" Because I thought it was funny. We both thought that was funny, and like we have the same sense of humor. Yay!
Oh, that's true.
There's that.
But a concert's kind of like a movie. You go, you enjoy
Could you
it.
go to a concert by yourself?
Oh,
could.
many
Oh,
times.
Totally.
I wish I could. I'm
Really?
sad to say I don't have. Being on the show hasn't helped.
I feel like you should
Wow.
exercise this part of
No,
yourself.
no. When I went to Coachella, I have been working on it. I went to Coachella the second weekend this year, and this is the second time going. I had a very terrible time the first year I went for a lot of those reasons, I didn't go with a great group, and I kept losing friends, and I kept I felt very alone in a place with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so I got invited with a good group, but I knew that Coachella being what it was, like I had no expectations, and I kind of decided that I'm not going to, even though I want to hang out with these people, if I'm going to lose them at some point, I know I am, I'm just not going to worry about it. So a couple times I found myself walking around Coachella by myself and just enjoying the music. And it was not only a fun time, but a liberating time. If I'm being honest, there were times I get anxiety about it because, you know, getting recognized, I feel like more like if I was, you know, like if someone says, oh, it's Nick, are you Nick? And like, well, what are you doing? Like, who are you with? And I'm just we're here.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a fear?
I struggle with that. I still shouldn't, but if I'm being honest, but I did go to Coachella and I did that, and it was liberating. I walked around and watched Ariana Grande with the Ariana Grande sweatshirt.
Amazing.
I did have the hoodie on, and I was kind of like chill.
This sounds kind of fucked up, but I would have the fear in that situation that people would ask me to hang out with them and I wouldn't want to.
That too.
You know?
Because there's like, oh, you're by yourself? Just hang out with us. And be like,
Yeah.
I'm meeting some friends.
People are trying to be sweet.
And it's not a personal thing. Like sometimes, that's another thing. Sometimes you want to be by yourself.
Yeah.
But Nick, a lot of what I'm hearing from you is like, we got to stop creating these narratives for ourselves about like when it's appropriate to be alone and when it's not. And when it's embarrassing to be alone and when it's not. And like, you know how you're talking about when you first moved and you're like, I'm allowed to be alone. Like that's in this narrative, I am supposed to not have friends. And sometimes you set up narratives like, damn, I'm 2 years into living in this place and I still don't have friends. And then there's this panic of like, then it's like, I'm doing something wrong. Like I should have friends at this point. I don't.
It is very much that I feel I've said this before. I feel the loneliest when I'm feeling sorry for myself and then self-critical, and then I really compound it. And when I'm not thinking about it, if I'm like painting alone, for 4 hours will go by, I won't think about that I'm doing it by myself. I'll quite enjoy it. I mean, just like dancing and painting and drinking wine, just like having a night.
Yeah. Well, when you don't ruminate, I think rumination is really the killer when you feel alone. Like if you're able to distract yourself, if you're able to distract yourself with painting, it's crazy how quickly you'll be able to move on.
I think taking a step outside too. Like don't just sit. I mean, it's nice to be alone in your house, but sometimes you need to be like, recognize when you need a break out and be like, I'm just gonna go for a walk around the neighborhood.
You need to feel the breeze.
I do like a good walk by myself.
Me too.
I've started to enjoy that as I've lived my life.
Volunteering's good too. You meet a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Well, selfless acts are the best to do.
Because it takes you out of what you're talking about, that like
being narcissistic.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't feel sorry for yourself when you're helping other people.
And the other thing is, say hello to a stranger, make a comment to the parking guy, compliment them, have like even those, 30-second exchanges.
Pay it forward, buy a person a cup of coffee in the back of the line.
Yeah.
That stuff does work. I have done that in the past, and it does. And I it's like anything else. It's like exercise, and you forget about it. It worked, and you stop doing it. And everyone should do more of it. But that stuff does really work. Of like,
it does.
Saying hi to random people,
smiling at people,
asking people about their day, like really never thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, truly,
Yes.
it really helps, and it's hard. We've become more like, our society has become more selfish and self-indulgent through social media, and that's why I do sometimes remind myself too, in the dating world or just in the friend world, when we tend to feel sorry for ourselves and then like judge ourselves and and start criticizing ourselves, the reality is in most cases everyone is doing that, but they're not thinking you're a loser. They're just not thinking about you, and it's not because they don't care about you. Everyone's thinking about themselves. We're all just thinking about ourselves, and as a result, we're not thinking about one another.
So true.
So it's not that they're judging you, they just don't give a shit. We all do that. I'm the same way. I mean, like every time I'm just like, I'm so worried about people thinking of me, but I'm like, what have I done to think of others? I mean, I try to consciously think about that, or when I'm in a conversation, I'm venting to someone, I'm like, thanks for listening for 15 minutes, but wait, I haven't asked you about your day.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, and it can even be, we talked about this with body image, where we're so consumed with how we look. I have to remind myself, girl, I don't look at Jess and I'm like, oh, whatever my insecurity is. Oh, like it looks like her eyebrows need to be plucked, or oh, it looks like no, we look at ourselves because we're obsessed with ourselves. I'm not obsessed with how you look, Rochelle. I'm not obsessed how you look, Jess. Nick, I'm not picking apart your outfit because I don't care.
Every time
I care about me.
Every time you take a group photo, what's the first thing you look at?
Always look
Yourself.
at yourself.
Yeah.
Like, this picture's so great, guys. Should we post this one? Everyone else is
like
eyes closed, cross-eyed. And you're just like glowing. You're like, no, guys, no, it's candid. It's candid. We look like we're having fun. Like, no, guys, come on. Like, no, it's the most organic photo we could possibly find.
Well, it's going on my feed, so I'm posting it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Also, by the way, there's a website. I can't remember what it's called, but if you Google like volunteering near me, there's a website that will help you narrow down different volunteer opportunities one day or ongoing or for different categories. Do you like helping animals? Do you like helping elderly people? If you just look up volunteer near me, the website will pop up. It's like a very well
that's
known website.
very helpful.
So that's a good resource.
I remember when I was 28 and I wanted it was hard to volunteer. It was literally I was in Milwaukee and I finally did it through my church, but it was like
How do I find opportunities?
I thought it would be so easy.
Yeah.
The first time I tried to sign up, they're like, well, it costs this and you have to like fill out this app. I'm like, dude, I just want to show up and help someone up.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's getting easier. So that's pretty
definitely is. The internet does help in that way.
I was just going to say, I think like one of the final things to really process through, like obviously you want to think about like putting your focus on someone else is so beneficial. But I always think about the Buddha said, universal peace comes through individual happiness. And I feel like when we're growing up and young, we're talking about like the memories that you have with your friends, like running around. That's like so many years of our life where we're being influenced by our friends, our family, whatever environment we are, and we don't necessarily know who we are. So you're just a culmination of all these different pieces. And then when you finally have an opportunity where you are feeling or being like alone, even if you don't have the choice, I feel like it's a great opportunity to be like, okay, now's the time in my life where I get to really find out who I am. Not because of my friends, not because of my parents, not because of my environment, like who am I? So I don't know. I feel like you take advantage of that when you can.
That's true. Volunteer Match, by the way, is the website.
Volunteer Match.
And
those of you listening.
I was also just thinking like, you know, you were saying something about like being, I can't remember who said it, being friendly towards people. And I was just thinking doing little things to get you out of your comfort zone, challenging your own personal comfort zone. You know, just being like making conversation with somebody when you're checking out with your groceries.
Yeah.
Like, how are you today? And like, that might be really hard for some people to do, but take those little steps, you know, go do something by yourself, even if it's just a walk, if you don't feel comfortable going to the movies. Challenge yourself as an individual. I feel like there's a lot of growth in that.
I think that's great. And if you take a shot and say hi to someone and they're rude to you, don't let it get you down.
Right.
You know,
Say hi to the next person.
to the next person.
Yeah.
Well, I think we tackled loneliness pretty well
We
today.
solved it.
We got it all figured
No
out.
more.
Everyone's good now, right? Yeah.
Fuck you, loneliness.
Everyone listening is going to be in elevators with strangers like, hi.
Hi. Like,
Hello.
they start hugging random people in an elevator.
Nick's chicks and dicks are just going to be like so aggressively
For all the
happy.
chicks and dicks out there. Well, I do have one question for Bekah before we get to fans' questions. We have Nate. Armpit hair.
We have Nate. What about it?
Oh.
I'm just naturally curious. You've posted the armpit hair on your feed. Do you like armpit hair?
No.
Is it
No.
Is it just like a message you're getting across of like, why do I have to if I don't want to?
No, actually.
And also, does your boyfriend like it?
I know these are all questions I get all the time. We actually really dive into this on one of our episodes. It's a body image episode. It's actually like the opposite of what people think, because people always like when they try to defend me, they're like, look, she just doesn't like shaving and like she likes her armpit hair. And actually, no, it's been... So when I was growing up, one of my biggest insecurities was body hair. I was like when I was in third or fourth grade, I stole my mom's razor and was like secretly shaving my legs. And I was like, literally, I would wear long pants up until then because I did not want I have fair skin, I have dark hair, and I just had this message ingrained in me that like body hair on women is disgusting. And if you go on my comments on some of those posts, you will see that all over the place. Gross, nasty, you look like a man, disgusting. Even some that are like, go kill yourself, horrible things. People have this very...
You're a bad mother.
People have this very...
You're a bad mother.
No, literally.
yeah.
Some people like, I feel sorry for your...
shaving?
I feel sorry for your
Not
daughter.
shaving?
I feel sorry for your daughter. There's this very ingrained
sweet.
idea. We have a very internalized idea that body hair on women is disgusting, which by the way, this is something that only happened in the past 100 years. It was a way to sell razors when men were away at war in World War II. So they created this advertising message of be smooth for your husband when he gets home.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, it feels lovely to have smooth legs.
I mean, listen, I don't like as a
nice.
guy, I don't feel bad by saying I prefer the
Sure.
the-
No, I totally understand that. And then that's the thing. I like the way it looks. So anyway,
Is it more for yourself?
So yeah, I'm getting into that. So it was always this thing. I would panic if I was like invited to go swimming and I hadn't like shaved. It was like really my biggest insecurity, and it still is. And I decided a couple years ago that I was going to start trying to challenge that idea. And so I started by growing out my armpit hair, which now, you know, in LA it's kind of trendy. So it's like here in the city, yeah, you go to yoga
East
and
side,
you see
yeah.
girls like. So
Our side of town.
it is shocking when you see a woman with body hair. No, it really is. There's this.
yeah,
It's just
it
we
is.
haven't seen it in a long
It's specifically
time.
our. I will say though, the armpit hair is it catches your eye.
It does. It's
But
like,
I will
oh my
say, like in the dating space, if I were like out with a girl and we're like, you know, starting to like make out, and then like I put my hand on her leg and she's like, I didn't shave, and I'm thinking it's fine. And I always thought when I was like in the scenario, I'm imagining like my leg hair, where I'm just like, oh,
which I have.
you know, but like and then like I'll see it, and like maybe I see like, and I'm like, I don't care. And I guess my point of saying is, I don't think guys care as much as when some women seem to really be self-conscious about like, if I'm going to make out with a guy or get physical, I need to be smooth like silk.
Totally. Well, that's
and
what I'm
honestly,
saying. It's this internalized
most guys
message.
don't really give a shit.
So
And so, you know, like,
Well,
seriously.
And can I be
mean,
honest? Like I shave when I did shave for other women. Like I hadn't like my girlfriends would be like, "Oh my god, you're so hairy." I would have like friends say that, and even now I don't get nervous being around men in shorts. I get nervous when I go to some event and I know there's going to be other beautiful women, and I get nervous that they're going to look at me and be like, "Oh my god, she doesn't shave," and it makes me nervous for like the other women. So anyway, I wanted to challenge myself. And then when I got pregnant, I was like, you know what? I still like hate this so much about myself. And I don't care whether my daughter shaves or doesn't. It's not about indoctrinating people not to shave. It's about sending a message to myself and to others that, hey, I can be beautiful in spite of this thing that has been my insecurity for so long.
love that.
So
That is so
it's more of an exercise in self-love. And I also wish when I was a child that I saw women with body hair that I had having it, so I knew that it was normal and I knew that it was okay, and I didn't have to feel so disgusted by myself.
I love that so much. What a wonderful message.
So,
And how is it doing? Are you feeling more comfortable in your skin because of that now?
It's taken a long time, but I'd say after like it literally takes months. Like I still am like kind of get this gut reaction when I see myself, but as the time has passed on, I become more and more comfortable with myself. So
I was in a movie and I was nude and I had like a merkin, which is a fake vagina wig.
yeah.
And they were like, "What do you want the hair to be like?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is an interesting question because I've been shaving and waxing, sugaring for so long that it's just like sparse and thin." So I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity to get like my 70s bush back. And we went as big as possible. Like this was like you'd have to dig to get in there. But it felt empowering, and it was like, you know what? This is a lovely message.
Yeah, and I mean, I do like wax my bikini line, and then people are like, "Wait, you waxed your bikini, but you don't shave your legs?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because honestly, I don't feel comfortable being at the beach with my pubes sticking out, and a lot of other people are going to react negatively, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So
it's so hard.
No,
It is.
Sand gets stuck in there. It's just, it's tough.
Well, and to answer your question about my boyfriend, he doesn't give a shit, and
He's a
he really doesn't understand why people do. But also, he went to school. The way he explains it to me, he went to a very liberal school in Oregon called Lewis and Clark, and he said that like virtually
That explains.
virtually every woman there was like super like, I'm not gonna shave, I'm not gonna wear dresses, and so he's like, the majority of like my sexual experiences in college were with women who didn't shave, so it's like doesn't bother me. Anyway,
I'm just going back to the shame I felt in elementary school. A bunch of girls were like, "Why aren't you shaving? Like that's disgusting." Like that was like a shame I felt, and I probably like still carry that.
I want to shave. That's also fine too. But I like that you are at least like it's. I like the self-awareness aspect of it. That you are doing it because you know that you have an issue with yourself, and you're kind of trying to deprogram.
And I encourage other people to challenge their beauty beliefs. So if you have this negative reaction towards people who are overweight, if you have this negative reaction to women who don't shave, challenge
Get fat?
Challenge the way that you look at other people and recognize that it's not a problem with their body, it's a problem with your mentality.
There you go.
Preach.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some fan questions. Let's play that jingle.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy
I
question.
love that jingle. It's so good.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We have a full house for you here today.
We
It's
do.
myself and Jess and Bekah and Shug and Rochelle. We really got a whole team here. How can we help you?
Well, I was going to say good because I could probably use the team.
Great.
So that's great.
We're here.
Okay. So where do I start? I am currently, well, I guess I'm not engaged anymore as of maybe a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe not. Maybe this is a good thing.
Yeah. I was dating someone for 3 years. He proposed on Christmas, this past Christmas. And we ended up buying a house together.
Oh, wow.
After maybe 2, 3, 4 days of living together, he had a total freak out.
Oh, boy.
And he said he felt all this pressure. He's feeling overwhelmed. He's feeling stressed out. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to handle it. He's never been very good about talking about his emotions or communicating his feelings, negative feelings very well. And he, maybe a week after that, he asked me to take the ring off because it was too much for him. So I took it off. What happened next? God. Then he said he needed space. He went to stay with his parents, and he's been there ever since, and now we're on a break. And it's been like 3 weeks, I think.
And what has your been response to all this? I think this is my first question.
I've been trying really hard to be positive for him. I haven't pushed him away. I've been really good about, if he needs a couple of days, that's fine. I won't bug him. Or, he's saying he feels overwhelmed, so I'm not going to.
Have you at all expressed to him how you feel about the situation without considering his feelings?
I've tried to, and he gets a little defensive.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he is hard to talk to. At least recently, he's been really hard to talk to, and I don't really know what to do about it. And it's been kind of a nightmare.
Well, I have a question. Has there been any boundaries set or any kind of discussion of like what's going to is there a time frame for the break? Like, is there any kind of discussion about what's going to happen? Yeah.
He said he was going to come back in July, beginning of July, so it would be like a 5-6 week break
To move back in with you?
What's that?
To move back in with you? That's what he's planning on doing in July? Okay.
How old are you, Katie?
Come home.
Okay.
What?
How old are you?
What'd you say?
How old are you?
29.
How old is he?
31.
Okay. It sounds like, it's safe to say that you hope this works out.
Yeah, despite what my friends and family
Why?
now hate him.
And why do what do you love about the relationship?
I mean, he's a great, great person.
Nah, I'm sure he's great. But what do you love about the relationship? Well, I didn't ask you what you love about him. I asked you what do you love about the relationship.
Like, what does he do for you, kind of thing? Is that what
Yeah.
you mean?
How does he make you feel? What do you love about the relationship? I've heard a lot of things what you don't like. He's not good at expressing himself. Sounds like he's very concerned about his feelings and not yours. What do you love about the relationship? Like, why do you want it to work?
I mean, he's my best friend, and you know, we've known each other a long, long time, and I just like, I can't really imagine my life without him in it.
Okay.
And he, you know, we've planned our whole lives together. Like, we've talked about it since the day we started dating. We were friends before that. And since the day we, you know, got together, it's pretty much been like all or nothing with us.
Katie, do you mind if I ask the origin of your engagement? Like, were you kind of pushing him to get engaged, or was it something that
we went and looked at rings together, and I think we went in maybe 2 or 3 times just to see what I liked. And I asked him probably 50 times, like, "Are you sure this is what you want? I have no problem waiting."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he did know that I did not want to live with him or buy anything with him until I was engaged.
Yeah.
Totally understandable.
Well, here's what I think you should do, if I may.
Yeah.
I think, listen, I appreciate where you're coming from, and I think there's probably a lot of people listening who can relate to your story. And you are very comfortable with this guy. You've known him for so long. I don't even discount that he is, in fact, your best friend. But I think it's important for you to take this time, and I've said this in other podcasts, for yourself. And taking away that he's your best friend and taking away how much time you spent together, but really, really try to think about, is he still your person? Is he the one? Because he can have been your best friend, but maybe he's not. I don't know. I do think specifically you need to start setting expectations of that what you want. I think you need to really figure out what, you know, and not just, I know you want to get back together, but he's calling all the shots. He's setting the timeline.
Yeah.
You are just sitting, waiting around, and you think you're doing something by being. And I know you're trying to do the right thing by being supportive and loving, but you're just enabling him. In reality,
I think there needs to be boundaries set.
Yeah. And I don't think, I'm not saying he's meaning to, and I'm not saying he's taking it for granted, but he's making this all about him, and you're letting him feel like that's okay. And it's not, but he's not, I'm saying it's not malicious. It just, I think just happens. And cause you're just afraid of losing him, which is common, but I think right now you're discounting what you might want out of this. And I don't think him being your best friend, or you've been together so long, are 2 very good reasons to spend the rest of your lives with each other. You're still young, and I think you want someone who you can communicate with, would be my guess, who is not afraid to talk about their feelings, who doesn't always need space, who can be there for you even when they're struggling. You know, I mean, I'm assuming you want a guy you can count on to be your person.
Yeah.
You know, so he's not.
Can I chime in on this? I would guess that a lot of the fear maybe is about losing him, but more about maybe losing this dream that you've shared together.
Yeah.
And this dream of this life that, and I understand that I was in a long-term relationship, and you picture all these things, children you're going to have together, the life you're going to live, the things you're going to do. And sometimes that can be the biggest thing you're mourning in the loss of a relationship.
The idea of it.
Is the idea of this life that you have built up your life upon in the past few years. And I know that that's really scary, but I was also thinking of, you know, him having to physically leave and move in with his parents, even if he comes back and things, you know, are back on board. I think it's really something for you to consider. What about when things get hard inevitably in your marriage? How is he going to react?
Yeah.
Is he going to separate himself physically from you? When you have children, is he going to separate himself
problems,
physically?
He loses a job, you lose a job, who knows?
And sure, he might dip out for like a couple weeks and then come back, but maybe even if he does come back, you're going to need to set boundaries of, this is not okay. We're not doing this again. You cannot just dip out. I need you.
You really need to set the tone and protect yourself. I know with my husband, before we ended up getting married, we were in a situation kind of similar. We weren't engaged yet, but he was like running away, panicking. And I did some things that were similar to you, and I just kind of let him call the shots, kind of have his cake, eat it too. And he just then continued in that habit, and it wasn't good for him. him either. I wasn't taking care of myself, and I also wasn't helping him out because he wasn't growing. I was just letting him, fester in his own immaturity in that way. And as soon as I really had the confidence to say, no, you can't just have it your way, I took a step back.
I don't deserve this.
I removed myself from the relationship. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but cut to 3 months, all of a sudden he's pounding at my door again, and we're able to renegotiate. And now, we have a healthy marriage, but I had to really be willing to lose the relationship to take care of myself.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You have to be willing to lose it. And I think because what's going to if you keep doing what you're doing now, even if he comes back and moves in, you're going to be like on pins and needles, being like, so like,
I know, I'm scared of that.
and he's going to feel that. And then he's going to subsequently feel more pressure from you. And it sounds like this guy is not very strong with his emotions right now. And it's just just going to snowball and end badly. But if you are willing to lose it and willing to walk away, one or two things are going to happen. You're going to move on from him, and it's going to suck and be difficult and scary and lonely at times. But eventually you'll realize you weren't getting what you needed out of the relationship, or he will realize that he's been selfish and he needs to step up his game. And instead of worrying about whether he can commit to you, he'll realize he can't lose you either. But right now, he is not afraid of losing you at all.
Yeah.
He just,
He's got you where he wants you.
Yeah. And again, I don't think it's malicious on his part. It's human nature to take advantage of the situation. And so I think you definitely need to kind of stop what you're doing and reset and think about what you need and focus on yourself while he's focusing on himself. Let him know you love him, but let him know that you're going to take this time and you need to think about whether you're ready for him to come back.
Yes.
And this is going to be a mutual decision, not a decision based off what he wants and needs.
Yep.
And he needs to really believe that, because that will reset him and it'll freak him out, but then you got to make sure he's not just reacting.
Yes.
But one or two things but like doing what you're doing now is only going to keep this situation compounding. And even if he does get back together, he's going to bail every time it gets hard unless he knows that you're not going to put up with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take the reins, girl.
Yep.
So
take the reins. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
No, that's good advice. Yes, that's very, very helpful.
Stay strong. You really gotta, I would spend the rest of all weekend thinking about what you want and what you deserve, and literally maybe write it out.
Yeah.
Like really obsess over it. Don't worry about what he wants at all. And I think you'll realize you may not be getting what you want and deserve as much as you think you are, because just him isn't enough.
I would also say practically resisting reaching out to him, like resisting, during this time since you're on a break, do not reach out to him. I would say at all. If he wants to reach out to you, that's fine. But maybe even if he reaches out to you, say, hey, I think we're taking a break, and like we need to respect that.
Get on a couple dating, just start.
I don't think that's good.
I think you should start being okay with the idea of moving on. You might not have to.
Yeah.
This really aligns with what we were talking about today.
Yeah.
The idea
you listen. If I'll promise you this much: if this doesn't work out, and it might not, you're gonna be okay, and you will eventually find someone who's gonna be your new best friend and gives you what you want. But like right now, you're banking so much on your history with this guy that you've stopped expecting what you want in the future and in the present, and you're basing so much on the past that he's getting away with things that you wouldn't let a new guy get away with.
Yeah. And Katie, I know for myself, like my husband is my best friend, and so there was that major fear. I know that I relied on him too much, and I felt like I needed him. And it wasn't until I stepped away that I came to the conclusion that I didn't need him. I wanted to be with him, but I didn't need him. And I think that's sometimes the balance that you need to strike. Like, you don't need him. He's your best friend and you love him. Maybe you want to be with him, but make sure that you don't need him in the situation.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be okay. You just gotta really tell yourself that.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
It's just I've been in that position when I was younger. You tell yourself, I can't do this, and I can't do this without. But like, you got to start telling yourself a different narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. And I personally, I do the thing where I just the few conversations I've had with him about it, I loop it around in my head 1,000 times a day.
Yep.
And
Stop
dissecting.
No, think about what you obsess over your needs.
Awful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Start a new hobby in the meantime. That's my advice. Start working out more or something. Do something to get your mind off of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, we feel for you, girl. We'll be thinking about you. You got it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank
Best of
you.
luck.
Thanks.
Bye, Katie.
Bye.
Bye, Katie.
Bye.
Hey.
Nate!
Nate!
Welcome back to the
Welcome back.
show. For those of the people who haven't listened, go back and listen to the episode with Ariel Vandenberg. We met Nate for the first time. He called in, struggling with his dating life, and we gave him some notes about how he might be able to land some good first dates. And so we're just dying for an update. We have no idea. Nate, the floor is yours. Let us know what's been going on in your life.
Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. I didn't think you guys had return callers ever. So.
You're our first one. So
We couldn't resist.
what's up?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you guys wanted sexy questions, not this awkward.
They're all questions are inherently sexy. Nate.
Yeah, so I tried to take your advice, and I did try to shake up my more rigid, scheduled self and tried to go on an activity date for the first date a couple times over. First time I tried it was a couple weeks ago. I really like going to jazz outside, and there was an opportunity with somebody I was corresponding with on Bumble.
Great.
Invited her out there.
Yeah.
We chatted for about 30 minutes, and then she left. So that's that.
She left.
Hold her hostage.
She left jazz.
No harm, no foul.
She went on jazz to jazz with you.
Yeah.
And like, how the conversation go?
Yeah, what were you guys talking about?
Just the basic get to know you stuff while the jazz was playing. Which was cool.
And she was like, "All right, well, gotta go."
Yeah. Like, very nice meeting you. I have other plans now. Bye.
Huh. Do we have any notes for Nate?
Well, I mean, I think on that, at the end of the day, at least you know where that is going, and
Yeah.
you have your answer, and you don't have to pursue it. It's not it's not gray area. That's pretty black and white, which I think is a
Just out of
positive.
what are some questions that you asked her?
What do you do? What do you like to do in town? How long have you been here? Those types of things.
Well, also, sometimes it's not, you can't take it personally. Sometimes people just don't vibe. So it's not always not what you didn't do. Sometimes it's just not there. So
That's true. I wonder if maybe on these dates, maybe the first maybe you're already doing this, but if you're not, I would try to keep it as light as possible. And
how
again, go ahead. You were going to say something?
How do you keep it light? Really don't know.
Yeah, like instead of like, what do you do, whatever, like if you're at this jazz band, be like, oh, this is this new band. They're really cool. Like, just talk about what's around you. People watch, just have some fun. Like, don't make it feel like, you're interviewing them. Because that can make someone anxious at first. And you're just just keep it real light. You're just there to, again, like whether it's the jazz thing, I think it's a great way to do that. Or if it's trivia at a bar, make it about the moment, that it's the trivia that you're really excited about. Like, and again, let them get to know you by like, you're just be passionate about something. And like, you're really glad that they're there. Thanks for joining me. This is like a lot of fun. Like, let's have some fun tonight. And just let her maybe see if she asks you questions. And like, if after a while, maybe start showing some interest, but kind of keep it light. Because I'm getting the sense that maybe you did the first step right, and then right away you're like, I got like 50 questions for you, and you kept asking them.
Feedback I get a lot from my friends that they call me the question man.
Yeah. And I think questions are good. I think that's good. I think it's good to do that. But I think you maybe need to try to keep it a little lighter and just talk about the moment you two are in.
Yeah.
Can I give
I was just going to say, I think that reframing it to, instead of being the first question, be the follow-up question. Like when she brings up something about herself, do the follow-up, because then you're already on a topic that she wants to be talking about, and be the follow-up question guy.
What do you wear on dates, Nate?
Usually this, like my shirt and tie.
Don't do that. Okay. So
I, for one, think you look very handsome today.
You look very handsome
look
right
hot.
now.
Did you change your hair?
No, you did. You changed your hair. You look like you
look
glowed up a
good.
little
You
bit.
glowed up.
You
You
did.
glowed up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But, and I like this.
Now I know to hold the phone further away from my face, because one of my trivia buddies said, "What's your face doing right in that camera?"
Yeah. Listen, but
Now I'm extending that.
we're getting to know you, Nate. And again, you're a buttoned up. I would love you to have you as my lawyer. I feel like you're really good at following the rules. You know what you're doing. But I think you need to just...
I have an idea.
So jeans and a t-shirt.
I have
Go
a
get
suggestion.
some nice jeans and a t-shirt.
Well, I have a date suggestion. How about, so we're taking the activity thing to the next level. How about a physical activity? So like, let's go to a rock climbing gym. Let's go bowling.
Well,
let's do something. What?
We want Nate to do things that in an environment he's comfortable in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
that way we want
Second-
Nate to be comfortable in that surrounding. So there's something
Okay,
he's comfortable
okay.
with. So if it is, if you're
do you
gonna rock
have
climb,
do you have
bowling,
any
by all-
physical activities that you like to do in your free time?
Mhm. Yeah, so the second date I went on was just this past week. I went to a comedy show, and we ended up talking a lot about other comedies
Great.
we've seen around
How'd
town.
that go?
So we were able to bond that way by talking about where we were and about other things that we might have in common.
How'd
Cute. How did
that
it go?
I thought it went pretty well. Yeah, there was karaoke afterwards, and I wanted her to hang out for that, and she couldn't.
Okay.
Karaoke
So I
is a
guess I'll
tough
follow
sell.
up, but it was a couple of days ago, and I tend to observe the 3-day rule.
Karaoke's tough. I don't love karaoke, especially on a first date. It's the first date. You're like, hey, perform for
Yeah,
me.
you're really putting yourself out there with that one, so don't take that
that's like-
personally.
I'm most comfortable, though. That's the whole thing.
No, listen,
Yeah,
listen. Nate, you're doing great. You're shooting to get hot. You're doing fantastic. My one also note, other than talk about the moment, do not wear a button-up shirt and a tie on a date. It's like it would be good for other guys who are more carefree. That's not necessarily a strength of yours, and I think your wardrobe will make you feel a little bit more
Relaxed.
just relaxed. You know, take off the tie, a nice pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Get one of your girlfriends or guy friends to take you jean shopping, and just a basic white or dark tee.
To your point, though, make sure you feel comfort. Make sure you
do
feel
you feel
comfortable.
comfortable? Yeah.
Be yourself still within your casual outfit.
That's a good point. Do you feel comfortable in t-shirt and jeans that look nice?
Yeah, I guess I could go home and change and then head back out on the date. Because usually I try to schedule things right after work.
You could
I'm
also
just kind of discombobulated and out of sorts, which isn't the best either.
you could loosen up your business look. You could take off the tie, unbutton the first button,
Yeah,
roll
great look.
up your sleeves.
Yeah.
I love
You
that
did that
idea.
face like, oh, I don't know.
I think
Put me
yeah.
for a loop here.
Get a little too crazy.
Yeah, you're very structured, Nate. I want to get you a little less structured.
Yeah.
My guess is your dates are feeling this like intensity from you that you don't mean to give out, and I think listen, I'm a lawyer. The button-up tie, it can be intimidating and structured, and then you're a lawyer and you're asking them questions.
Yeah.
And I can imagine being like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'm on a date or I'm like
An interview.
an
being
interview, and like,
subpoenaed.
am I going to be subpoenaed? Insert like, I think so. I think you trying to, be in the moment and try to at least take off the tie, at least roll up the sleeves, keep it casual.
It sounds like there's progress happening.
Yeah,
we're
so after this last date, did
Getting
you
there, yeah,
hear from
for all
her?
this time.
Or after your last date, Nate, did you hear from her?
The comedy date.
What was the question?
Did you hear from the comedy date?
No, well, because I'm waiting 3 days until I contact her.
Girls, what do you think about that rule? Nate has a pretty stark rule that he waits 3 days to contact after. a
This
date.
is what I think. I think just send a nice text the next morning, like, had a great time last night.
Hope to see you again.
Hope to see you again. Just leave it at that. She doesn't have to respond. If she doesn't, it's okay. But if she does, you're acknowledging that there might be mutual feelings.
Great
And
advice.
if she says yes, then maybe wait 2 or 3 days to say, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I love a follow-up
Yeah.
in the morning to like secure the confidence that if she had a good time, she's going to want to know that you had a good time too.
Yeah, it's just like if you have a work meeting. I would never have, a work meeting and then I always have a follow-up the next day of maybe some, follow-up documents. But you can do
Right, so
this.
it doesn't you seem too eager?
No, it's polite.
But definitely leave it so that she doesn't feel pressured to respond. Don't ask a question or
Yes.
anything. Just be like what did you say?
Don't say, did you like it?
No.
Just say, I had a great time.
Hope
Hope to see you again.
And don't send a text like that to the person who left jazz early. Don't
Yeah.
send one of those to the one who ditches.
Screw her.
Just,
Nate, producer Rochelle here, just want to let you know a couple people they said they want to hook you up with their friends. You seem so nice. You're the type of guy their friends should be dating. So
Yes.
if that helps your confidence a little.
Nate, my entire goal of Viall Files going forward is to meet your girlfriend
Yes.
whenever she
Yes,
is.
please.
so ridiculous.
I'm really looking forward to the two of you being on the show.
This
together.
is like the basis of a romantic comedy. You know, you got to find a girl that's going to sweep you up in her whirlwind. She's going to be the wild one who dances on top of the bar.
Yeah.
Your tie off.
If I have anything to do with you,
Nick is the thing about you're trying to get the whole meet cute going. I'd rather just go to the supermarket and meet someone in the peanut butter aisle.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Not
But
working
like,
out.
sometimes,
That's not always reality.
if
Right.
I have anything to do with you meeting your wife, I will marry you two. If I don't, if you meet her in a grocery store and honestly, you're just like, Nick, give me some advice, but like, he had nothing to do with it, then I don't need to. But I will. All right, Nate, we need to let you go, but thank you for the update. Keep us posted. We'll touch base, in about a month and see how things are going. Okay. Try a t-shirt and jeans. Make sure it's something you do feel comfortable in.
True, yeah.
Just think about just loosening up.
Don't make it an interview.
Yeah.
Those are your notes.
Follow-up question guy. That's you.
Thanks, guys.
You look great.
Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Nate.
Bye, Nate.
Hi, what's your name?
Danielle.
Hi, Danielle. This is Nick and Jess and Bekah, and we have Shug and Rochelle in the room as well.
Hi, Danielle.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, she's like, okay.
She's like, who are all these people?
Okay. More than you bargained for. How can we help?
So a couple of months ago, I was having a conversation with a friend, and I can't remember how it came up, but he eventually said that it's a really hard time to be a white male in today's society, and it kind of like threw me off guard because we've had political conversations before, and he's never really said anything to make me think that that's what he thought. And so he was trying to justify why he thought that. And I don't know, just like being a woman of color, it was kind of like, you can't honestly really think that. But then I was also really trying to see from his perspective of why he thought that and putting myself in his shoes. But I guess, Nick, I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that, and if you've kind of ever experienced prejudice or anything like that because you're a white male.
Thanks for asking. Now I really need to get out of my system. How old is your friend?
He is 30.
Oh, he's 30. Okay. I would have guessed younger.
Yeah. No. Oh, are you kidding? There's people all across the nation, older, mature men who think that they're genuinely oppressed.
This is a good question. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, your friend's wrong. Like the high level statement is listen, we talked about this earlier in a different context, but we're all selfish inherently in considering our own needs, right? I talked about this last week with Hannah. We can all we can't help how we feel sometimes. Feelings come in and out, and we feel them. How we process those feelings, how we interpret them, how we handle them, we can control. It sounds like, I'm guessing, I don't need to hear your friend's explanation, but maybe some things he experienced where he felt like
Prejudice
because, and listen, the reality is that over history, white men have had it pretty good, right? Like
they still do, yeah.
They still generally do, right? That being said, over the past few years, there's been some corrections in our society of opportunities being given to all sorts of minorities, whether it's people of color, women, sexual orientation, and as a result, the people in the majority
who have been in power,
feel like things are being taken away from them. Your friend who's 30, he's still like, he's not that as young as I thought. My point when I asked, like the 20-year-old white kid, the reality is he hadn't lived in a time where he was ruling the world like a bunch of his peers. It now seems a bit more equal, but listen, when things change and when there's a correction, sometimes things feel more pressure. Listen, the reality is in the acting world right now, and I've been trying to act and I'm having some success, but you after the Oscars So White, you see, you hear from even my agent, well, they're specifically looking for people of color. They're specifically looking for this and that. And that's a good thing. But sometimes in the short term, as a white guy, you're like, well, I don't really have a shot at this. Yeah. Is that wrong? Does that mean white guys have a harder time in the world? No, but in that moment, you feel like, and maybe this happened to him, like that happened. It doesn't make him right. It doesn't make it okay. I'm just trying to, that's what I'm saying. In the short term, that's what's happening is my guess. Yeah. But I think we all need to chill out. And I think in the big picture, it's a positive thing.
Redistribution of power is painful for those in power. Sure. They don't like it when power is shifted because, like you said, it feels like something's being taken. And the reality is what you're talking about not being able to get parts or whatever, that's the experience that, like you said, these other people have had for forever.
Yeah. Totally.
Yes.
And you know what? And things balance back out. Well, they tip one way so they can balance.
Absolutely. And that's my point is like, he's feeling prejudice and maybe there's some prejudice. They were, all the other minorities have been prejudiced for all this time. So he's feeling that without having any perspective or empathy for what everyone else has gone through.
Yes.
Including yourself, who he's speaking to,
So he may be feeling that because there may be some truth to what he's feeling, but he's just speaking very literally about his own experience without, taking any consideration of history or even present day or
Well, and even if there is that I can't say the word redistribution. Thank you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying. But he still does not experience prejudice that other people feel. He still will not be looked at the way that cops will look at other people. He still will have an easier time getting jobs mostly than maybe you will. He still will just percentage-wise have a higher... There are all these ways that he's still getting a pretty good bargain out of all of it.
But I think, again, not to justify it, just to help you understand your friend's point of view, he's being selfish and he doesn't realize that because selfish people no one ever thinks most people don't realize they're being selfish in the moment when they're being selfish. Some people do. They're like, listen, I'm going to be very selfish right now, but I'm going to do it anyways. Most people are then selfish and don't realize it till after the fact because their needs are most important right now. My guess is that's why he's saying this and he just needs to be educated and
reality
learn.
check.
I mean, I read your question when you called in, and Rochelle and I have disagreed on this. Like, there's a big argument between whether it's the minority's job to educate the majority. I don't think it's their job, right? It's not their job.
Right.
No. Yeah.
But what I do think is that if you are willing, listen, it's like saying it sounds great, but like what's productive is people's willingness to communicate and understand. Mm-hmm. So is it your job to explain to him an ignorant point of view that he has? No, but if he's willing to learn from you and you're willing to take the time, you guys might better understand each other. So I wouldn't think of it as a job that you are required to do. It would be, in a perfect world, it'd be better for him to take the time and learn on his own.
To educate himself, yeah.
But he is being selfish right now and he might not do that. But if he is willing to ask you questions and you are willing to put up with his ignorance, there might be a common ground that you realize, and you might help him see things more clearly. I mean, as a straight white male, I've said this. Growing up, I think back, I've had ignorant thoughts before. I have thought things and probably even said things, and I look back 10 years ago and I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't tweet that or said that. And it was nothing like terrible, but it was not how I think now. And it was just, a lot of it was based off of ignorance and how we were raised. And it took time, and it took friends, being like, yeah, no, you're wrong. And here's why, and a willingness to listen. And I think we just need to keep communicating that, because if we do get discouraged and say, well, you need to go Google this and figure this on this own, they're probably not going to, right or wrong. I'm just saying, we need to all be patient sometimes. It's helpful. You don't need to be, it's not your job, but I think we will progress as a society if we were willing to do that.
There's also more passive ways to do it that don't require so much emotional energy. So you might follow an Instagram account or something that explains this kind of like some, and sending somebody something, be like, hey, I thought of what you were saying the other day, and this might give you some perspective on somebody else's point of view.
Yeah.
Doing something like that is like a more easy, passive, like maybe less confrontational way of discussing that kind of thing.
Did you get frustrated at him, and rightfully so maybe, that when he asked that? Like, what was your reaction?
I kind of just like stared at him. I didn't really know what to say.
Did he get defensive?
So, what?
Did he get defensive when you did that?
I didn't get got a little bit defensive, but then I was trying to explain like my point of view and why I thought what he thought was problematic. And then he was like saying a bunch of other things that I guess were skewed to make his point true. And then after a while, I kind of just like shut down and I didn't really say anything. And I just like let him continue talking. And then we left. So yeah. So like, I just don't really know how to, if he's like not willing to kind of have a conversation about it, like, I don't know if I should just drop it and say, okay, we'll just like leave it at that and we can agree to disagree, or
maybe if you
like
explain,
if I should give it a try.
Maybe if you explain to him the next time you saw him that, listen, I love you. I want to continue to be your friend. The way that you spoke about this personally offended me because I am someone who's different from you and I have a very different opinion and I want to have a good conversation with you. But if it's not going to go in a way where we're hearing each other out kindly and lovingly, I can't talk to you about it.
Yeah, I think that's...
Just so you're not expending this energy, like Bekah was saying, on someone who's just going to make you more and more frustrated because he's being uneducated.
Ignorant.
Also, and maybe like the only, kind of to Jess's point is, listen, at the end of the day, the two of you friends aren't going to solve this problem. And whether you guys agree to disagree or eventually agree, as a society, will continue to have to become more progressive. But also there is some truth that as individuals, we can only just focus and control what we can control. And every person through life, regardless of who you are, is going to have some advantages and disadvantages and some more than others. And so instead of your friend focusing on at some point feeling, you know, like he got the short hand of the stick, he can still learn from it. He can, it's sometimes people use it as an excuse. Certainly he is using it right now. And so I think
that's what I think. People use it as an excuse. You're not getting acting jobs. Oh yeah,
sure.
They're not hiring white people.
But I am saying like, but there is some truth to that in terms of whether they're right or wrong. Everyone does that, whether you're in the majority or minority.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
So we all do that, and some people are more justified to feel that way than others. But we can all use that as an excuse. My point of saying, instead of just you two figuring out the society's problems, why don't you both, as friends, figure out how you guys can help each other out, become the most successful versions of yourself. And if there are obstacles and roadblocks outside of your control, then focus on what you can control. I think that will be helpful.
I do think it is worth saying, just like, hey, I've really been thinking about what you said the other day, and it really upset me because I don't feel like you're seeing the other side of the other side of what other people go through. Like, I wanted to, and maybe just like, I don't know, I would be honest and just be like, honestly, it kind of upset me because it felt like you were being a little bit tone deaf to the struggles that other people experience. And I don't think it's fair to call what you experience prejudice. I mean, like, but that's my personality also. I'd be like, let's go there. Like, let's hash this out. But I think it can be really emotional and really difficult to realize that maybe your friend doesn't stand where you do. Yeah. And that's a valid feeling. I think it can be disappointing sometimes when you think you're on the same page as somebody else and then you're not. It's hard.
It's hard. Sometimes it is okay. I think you guys, if you're truly friends, you should both be open about expressing yourselves. And over time, this is not going to change overnight. Like whether he's wrong or not, he feels this way. And unfortunately, he's not the only guy, I'm sure, who is saying stuff like this. And he feels justified by saying this because at some point he felt that. Right. And my point is, he was obviously close-sighted and he was only thinking about himself, but that's how he felt, and he's justifying his words because he felt that way, which isn't always the right thing to do. He hasn't taken anyone's point into consideration. So I just think, like you said, being willing to talk about it and not trying to get defensive again is hard to do. But if you're not, it's not your job. But if you want to try to become closer and hopefully over time, is just keep expressing your point of view without attacking him and making him realize. And if he cares about you, he will slowly understand. Listen, like these kind of topics are things that are not going to change overnight. They have, like, it's taken hundreds of years to get where we are today. It's unfortunate it takes so long, but only through conversation and time will it continue to get better.
Got it.
So
okay. Well,
hopefully that was helpful. I don't know. But he is wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, what you guys said makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I guess if he's like not willing to listen and things like that, like that's not somebody I guess who I want in my life, and he's like not going to be an ally to like just people in general.
I would agree. Yeah, if he's unwilling, if he's stubborn,
cut him
then
out.
that's not cool. You know.
Yeah.
Then there's nowhere to go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Thank you for calling in. We
answering
appreciate
and
it.
Talking about this.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Whew. The poor white guy.
I had a friend who said, I truly don't believe that black women have it harder in the world than
No.
He really said that. And he
A friend of yours?
Oh yeah, a friend of mine, and I was literally like screaming.
Dude,
at
we
him.
all.
I mean,
I don't know how.
We all
I was
live in
like,
our
"Are you
bubble.
out of your fucking mind?
God.
You really think that? Oh man,
In that case, I think you just keep sending articles about the young black
there's
women getting kidnapped, and there's it's just absurd.
there's. I mean,
That
for
makes
that,
me
it's like
mad.
there's. I'm
But
like, yeah, it's like
people
there's
live in their
actual
bubble.
research. Like
Yeah.
there's research that shows that we have bias against people that do not. Yeah.
People live in their bubble and they get the information they want and they curate their own reality. And I'm not. I'm
That's
not.
scary. Curating
Well,
your own reality.
I mean,
It's true.
the good news is there's a straight parade coming up very soon in Boston. Did you guys hear
I
about
heard
this?
that.
No,
That
stop.
seems wild.
Yeah. Oh no.
Well, you know
They're
what?
putting on a just for straight people parade because the gays get a parade, so they deserve a parade.
Yeah, I
Can
don't
you handle it?
I don't
can't.
think we have enough pride in being straight, and we experience a lot of prejudice.
It does make me wild. It is wild because like the real. I don't think people get the concept. Like
Parades are gay
as
also. They're inherently gay.
But as a straight as a straight person, because we're in the majority in terms of our sexuality, we get to celebrate our sexuality every day.
single fucking
And the
day.
reason why they have a parade is because over time they have been judged for it.
and you have not been allowed to be
it's
proud.
Well, yes,
been allowed
it's
to
a
be proud.
celebration
so like
of
the
the
fact that
ability
you feel the
to
need
be
to have a
proud
parade for
and
something
out there.
you have the right to do every day.
And also, the
people-
parade started with the death of people from that community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's a whole.
it's why people say, why isn't there White History Month? It's like, because our whole history is white history.
Yeah, a parade is a celebration of a win.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, what a wild episode.
We went all over the place today.
Well, Jess and Bekah, thank you so much for taking the time.
This was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so
We'll have to
much.
do it again.
Great time.
You guys are all fantastic.
Hashtag Broad Squad.
For those of you listening, Jess and Bekah have a wonderful podcast called Chatty Broads.
Yeah.
You can find it on, same place you can find us.
All the platforms.
All the platforms.
All the platforms. It's very wonderful and nice. You talk about a lot of the same stuff. They're also moms, so for all the moms out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all the cool moms.
All the cool moms. Check it out. Thanks, ladies, for coming in.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you guys also, as always, for listening. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you can comment. And, we appreciate you listening. Yeah. We love you guys. Nate, as always, thanks for calling in.
Hashtag Nate Squad.
Don't forget your men in your life, natural habits, NHOils.com, 20% off first time customers.
I hope everyone feels mysterious in French this week.
Yeah. Chicks.
By chicks and dicks. Yeah. Can we call ourselves Nick's Chicks? I don't know how our partners would feel about that.
Yeah, we'll do it anyways.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a great week, guys. See you next week.
Bye.